What is going on, people? I'm trying to bring the high energy because we've just finished the Star Series. I drove home from Budapest. It took roughly 4 hours because they've got lovely motorways where you can just zoom zoom the whole way. It's not like a autobahn devil walk, where you can have like unlimited speed or like a
Yeah,
crazy speed. But I mean, it lets you push the limits. If you go like through the normal, not on the motorway way, I think it was like a 5 hour journey, but you do it in 3.5 hours. So that's not
that's
bad.
pretty good.
And I'll say this, Hungarian border staff, if you were the people who I saw today who were complimenting my actually it was Hungarian border staff on the way there and on the way back who were complimenting my Counter-Strike tattoo. If you ever happen to watch this podcast, you are the best border staff. You are much better than the Slovakian ones because Slovakian ones are slow, difficult, aggressive, like the annoying border staff who just ruin all enjoyment around you. Where the Hungarian ones, bro, these guys are cool as hell. Like playing with my dog, chilling, much more relaxed with their life. Like maybe they're getting paid more. Maybe Hungary pays more than Slovakians. I don't know, but they make my life less complicated.
Well, we had yeah, we did. We both did StarLadder, so we
Bro,
both know we can't ask each other. What did you do last week?
well, okay. I know you did it from home online, right?
Yes,
But we'll get into Star Ladder. We're not going to cover it as the first thing, but we were both at the same event, but we weren't there in person, so we didn't get to do an episode in person, which is the sucky part of this all. But we both got sick. You were sick
yes.
before the event started.
Well, I got sick. So my girlfriend got sick like 1 week before this event was supposed to start. I tried to avoid
Yeah.
her. I tried to obviously we share the same bed, but there
Sleeping
wasn't a
on the
lot of
couch.
like kissing and stuff like that because I didn't want to get sick. And the very last day
Mhm.
before the Star Ladder event actually was supposed to start,
Yeah.
I got sick. My throat was killing me. I think that night I was up until 4 a.m. because every time I would lay down, it felt like I couldn't breathe because it was so stuffed in my
That's terrible.
airways.
That's not fun.
So yeah, so essentially, I think I slept 3 hours the first day we did, which was a bit of a struggle, but with
On
some
a
coffee,
14-hour broadcast day as well. Four best
yes.
of threes.
So it was a bit
Jeez.
rough. So I was a bit slow, but I was feeling super refreshed after the first day. Like the second day, it felt much better.
Dude, like I got sick from the players, man. The players that went to Draculan and other events, multiple of them came in. They even said like, "Don't fist bump me or anything." So I was like, "All right, cool." But then I still had to film some content or just be near them in the same rooms, sharing the same oxygen as it be. And
Yeah.
I was fine the whole event until yesterday, just obviously grand final day, and I was cooked, man. I felt so bad. And so this episode is going to be a bit of sniffing and blowing my nose and all that stuff. But let's get into it. It
Yeah.
is episode 26 of the All About Counter Strike podcast. We're going through the episodes, we're moving through time. Right now, it is 8:37 p.m. on the 22nd of September, which means it is 7:37 for Devwalk over there in Sweden. We're not too far away from each other. If I'd done this in Budapest, we would have been on the same time zone. But it was better to go home, be in my home, all my equipment, everything I need with zero problems in them. On this episode, we're going to be covering Fissure, Star Ladder, Kicks and Cheating, Godsent entering bankruptcy, major invites, some of the smaller lands and stuff that can still affect it. Then we'll be doing an ESL Pro League Stage 1 preview. And as always, we've got some Q&A questions from the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord yet, make sure you do it because you can send a question to us each and every episode. And let me just plug this thing. So we have two episodes. They're not going to count as our like main episodes. That's why this episode is 26. They're going to be called specials, like you have in animes or stuff like that. And they're ones I was able to film thanks to Star Ladder. First one's up with Alexi B and Snappy. So Navi, Alexi B, Nib Snappy, and it's all about getting into the mind of a in-game leader. It was only an hour long because you're on media day. You're limited on time. We could have gone on for a lot longer, but literally we
But
had
they
to
are
stop.
super interesting. They're very, very open with the questions that you post. And I thought it was, I mean, even I got kind of drawn into it because we played it at the Star Ladder event during
But
one
not
of
the
the
full
ad
version.
breaks.
Not the
No,
full
but
version,
a
see?
short cut, like a
Yeah.
cut one, and I was, you know, I had like a 14-hour broadcast day, like you said, and I
Yeah.
was still sitting by my PC watching this little bit of a podcast from you and the guys, and yeah, I must say it was super interesting. So go check that out because it's yeah, there's gonna be some valuable stuff, some interesting stuff for you guys to take away from that one.
Oh, yes, it was very good. So, what we're going to do, we're going to cover what we saw on Fissure, but we're going to just be very honest with people. I personally saw a lot of Fissure games up until the last week. So, the last week, I'll say where it was like playoff games. I only saw them partly because I was doing my job at StarLadder, so it was like on another screen, wasn't really paying attention to it, just kind of watching scores go down. So between both of us, we're in the same boat, right? We didn't
Yeah.
watch much. So we're gonna give you just some takeaways and thoughts. I can't say this is going to be like a honest deep dive review of the event. I can definitely review what I thought of the arena, the Serbian crowd, Fisher's broadcast and stuff from that sense, considering we'd heard they had financial troubles. Honestly, didn't really look like they were struggling that much other than just the lack of talent
You
there.
know what
By the
we
way,
forgot, Banks?
what?
Our predictions in
Oh,
the
really?
document.
That's all right. Message Ivan. Get him doing it all.
All right.
Get our predictions up on there, and then we'll be fine. We don't
See,
have to make some crazy
this is a
edit.
consequence of us being a little bit sick.
So let's just talk about the event as a whole before we can review our predictions afterwards, right? Um, I think overall, Fissure was so important because of where it was in the calendar. And a lot of people, for example, asked why some teams were not going there. Obviously, it is run by a Russian organization. So some teams will skip it. Navi, obviously, notable in there. Bait as well. Maybe, I don't even know, they would have got an invite for that, depending on when the invite dates went out. But also, some of the very top teams won't go to an event like that as well, outside of
Yeah.
the circuit there. They're not going for these kind of events, but we still had a very good amount of teams there. If you look at Mongols, Falcons, Furia, G2, Aurora, all in attendance, FaZe as well. And I'll say what's crazy that I saw was the fact that we had the conflict of interest thing between Liquid and FaZe. They obviously needed to announce it because the roster lock was coming out for EPL. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would then be public information. So they needed to jump ahead for the team marketing. I completely understand that. But I know both Twists and like FaZe Liquid, they're not gonna throw games in order to do anything like this. But it is just a problem. It's like something we shouldn't have as a possible outcome or thing. It's very scary, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this is probably one of those transfer where it's the least scary. This was obviously a dead team, and it is, public knowledge is announced, and I mean, he did eventually beat the team he's joining. I think it was if it was the other way around, and Liquid
There'd be questions.
potentially were higher ranked or were in better shape at that time, and then FaZe kind of take twists and they end up losing just because of
Yeah.
that, then I think we get into a deeper conversation on it. But at this point, I think it's I was very surprised if there's any insincerity in that series.
So what I've done is I've picked out some things to look at with this event overall, right? So
Yeah,
first thing I'm going to say, shout out to the English talent because it was 4 commentators and 2 hosts doing everything. Now there was no analyst panel. There was a lot of extended breaks on the show. Like I saw 30, 40-minute breaks on there with not much other things going on. And honestly, that's hard for all of the talent having to do that. You know, that's a
yeah,
grind. That's a real grind. I think maybe less hard when you get to playoffs, but they had 4 best of 3s a day when they're on the games to qualify for playoffs and stuff like that. I think overall the event came off pretty good. Everyone complaining about like it's on Kick for the English broadcast. I just want to say this: StarLadder was also on Kick, right? And it may not get the same viewership as what the Twitch channels or YouTube channels get, and some people will go and watch even in a language that they don't like. But you need to remember CS is heavily skin, gambling, betting focused. and Twitch has obviously changed some rules on that. And also, I don't know this for a fact. No one's told me anything, but I'm just assuming because we had this. Remember when we used to do Facebook live streams? There was
Yeah.
EPL on Facebook. Then it was on YouTube at some
There's a
points as well.
bunch more. I think it was a Zubu we had for a
Oh
while.
yeah, was that Korean? I think that was Korean.
I don't know even know where it was from. I remember us being sponsored by a Zubu when I was on Fnatic, and
Yeah.
that was a total disaster. They threw, a bunch of money. We obviously had, I think Microsoft had one for a while. I can't remember what it was called.
Oh God.
Do you
Let me look.
remember that one?
Microsoft streaming
Because they did
platform.
like a big thing where they was it like
Mixer.
Shroud
Mixer.
Mixer. It was
Yeah.
Ninja who went to Mixer, wasn't it?
Someone like that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
they
really follow
just.
that side.
But either way, it was also like total disasters when people did that. I think even the show I did, where it was this kind of big brother gaming show, which Brollan Loba was in it. Me and Spawn, you were in it. What was it called?
Yes. Yeah. Gamers.
Gamers with Z.
Mm-hmm.
That was on Mixer, I think.
Yep. So let me just give this for people. Yeah. You cannot agree with betting and skin gambling. That's your choice. If you don't want to watch a broadcast, that's also your choice just because it's on Kick. But organizations make a lot of money from this thing. And if you want them to run the biggest events, this is what you're going to expect. And I think there'll be more people going this way to something like Kick. Yeah. Counter-Strike is a game where most of the world it's 16 plus. I think it's 18 plus in America, for example, on the PEGI. On this is European PEGI, PEGI is rating of 18. Yeah. It's not a
Yeah.
kids game. We're not Valorant. We're not something like that. This is very normal. Even Riot started to have betting involved now as well, by the way, just as an example. Um, it's maybe not positive. There's lots of people with gambling problems and about betting responsibly and all this stuff. And I'll just go to say, look at all your favorite football teams. Betting is everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's not a positive thing, right? I have a betting sponsor. I'm not trying to preach to anyone, but you should just, if you've got friends that have got problems, look out for them. Yeah. Talk to them. We've seen even pro players with these kind of problems. But to say you weren't going to watch the broadcast, because like to me, when I'm watching on Kick, there was no super negative of it. Um, it's not as clean as what Twitch is, but the broadcast itself is fine. Um, I never tried to look if it did a rewind function because I was always just watching it live, but maybe that's something to check out. But just for the Counter Strike community, beware that there'll be probably more of this, And if you don't like it, that's your choice. You can watch it however you want. But even Vitality is sponsored by Stake and Kick now.
Yeah.
Like even
I
even
will I
that's
will
there.
mention one thing that is annoying as a Counter-Strike viewer on Kick, and I hope they
Hmm.
fix this because such a simple fix, right? So when you go to like an HLTV game, you click into the match page and you have all the streams there
Yep.
in the embed, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, yeah.
So if you press a kick stream, normally I would be playing some game. I put on the stream on a second monitor and kind of chill
Yep.
with it. And you cannot, with an embedded stream on HLTV on Kick, change the volume. It's either on or off.
Okay.
So you cannot change the volume. At least I can't. And that
Yeah, that's
annoys me
that's terrible. That's
because
actually
sometimes I
terrible.
just want to click out of it, check the
Yeah, yeah,
stats,
yeah.
check the kind of game. Maybe there was a previous map, or I want
Mhm.
to see some advanced stats on it, and I
Mhm.
can't do that. And it frustrates me a little bit with Kick. And I just hope it's such a simple solution for the embed for them.
You know who you can give some feedback to? Trainwrecks in the Boomer Demons Discord with all of us.
Ah, yes,
Drop him a message. Just
I'll
just
drop
add him in
train
there and
train
send
record
him.
message.
Yeah, because he's obviously I don't know if he's CEO or something. He's very big on the whole kick stuff. He's behind it in a
Yeah,
big way. But what I'm going to do, Devwalk, this time, normally we go down each team, the results, blah, 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 but we didn't see the game. So I'm not going to try and do that with us. Let's just start with the glory. Let's start with Furia's performance here and Furia in general. Now, I'll say one thing that made me sad when I was with lots of the Navi boys after the win. We were watching this, right? One thing that was sad about the moment that Furia won, there was a lot of storylines that was missed because there's no analyst desk. Obviously, the interviewers can only do so much. But I went back and I looked at this myself, right? How I would have potentially approached this if I'm a desk host, for example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kei Serato and Yuri started competing at big events as per HLTV, like S tier events. Yeah. In 2019, it says DreamHack Masters Dallas was their first one. They had second place at ECS Season 7 finals. And when I keep scrolling up, and there is no more second places, nothing at all. So this was only their second grand final of like a very elite S tier event. Yeah. If we're talking big events by HLTV on the filter.
Yeah.
And after all this time, always being on Furia, their whole professional career, they managed to get a trophy. Bro, that is 6 years. That is 6 years of grinding. And they, by the way, they joined Furia before this. This is just from 6 years of being
But
at
you
big
know, there's
events.
even more storylines to this, right?
Oh,
That
yeah,
is
dude.
incredible because they were always like a top five team for such a
Consistently
long
up there.
time, and not being able to pick up trophies during that time is kind of crazy when you look back at it. And
Heartbreaking.
but it's also fallen, 2,853 days since Fallen last picked up a trophy before this.
Was that Pro League finals, right?
I don't know. I'm looking at essentially Reddit posts right now
Ah, okay.
because I saw
Because
this on Reddit earlier, and it caught my eye. Thought it was
let me do
interesting.
it for you.
I
Let me do
think
it
he
for you.
had something along like 80 different lands where he tried to get a trophy before he clinched this one during that time.
So it was 2,757 days as of now. 7 years and 6 months since the last trophy.
Yeah,
That's yeah. See, so like for Fallen, he even switches to rifle. In that time, he played for SK, MIBR, Liquid, Imperial, and now Furia. Yeah, he's done it
yeah,
while switching language, switching rifles. To rifle. Like this storylines are amazing. And also, by the way, you see Kei Serato? I'm so sorry for Kei Serato as well. 2 days
yeah.
ago, before the grand final, his grandfather died. That's why he just couldn't talk. He didn't have any emotions or nothing after finally lifting that trophy. Can't go home back to the family. It's such a horrible thing, and many Counter Strike players have had to experience this, as we've heard.
Yeah.
And they play insane. They step it up as a team. Now they've been on the cusp of this, right? Third to fourth in London, fourth at Kazakhstan, in Astana, fifth to eighth at the major. But this was a true breakthrough. And that final, I only caught the last few maps, but dude, it had everything in. It had everything in.
No, it was a back and forth one, and I'm gonna look back at that and really watch it through as a
Yep.
spectator later because it seemed to be, obviously if I just looked pre-final, I had Mongols being the favorites in the final, um, and I mean, one part of me looks at this and just says, is Yakinder and Molodoi, one of the best pickups in recent times, roster move wise in CS. Because if we remember where
No.
Furia actually was before
Yep.
they got picked up, they looked lackluster. They looked like they were sinking in rankings. I think they were hovering somewhere around 15 to 25 at the time, a
Yep.
little bit up and down, but they were never exciting with that lineup. If I'm honest, I think
No.
the most excitement we got from that lineup was when they announced the lineup, and we thought it was going to be
We were
a
doubting it.
better team than they showed out to be.
Yeah.
Um, but Molodoi, came from nowhere. Yekindar, obviously a great pickup as well, but also kind of from nowhere, in the sense that obviously a Brazilian team picking him up. And going from that kind of, top 25 to being a contender consistently and so quickly as well. Like,
Yeah.
let's remember, it took them what, 2 months? And then they were, or like a couple of weeks even, and they were already looking great the first tournament that they played. I can't remember how many weeks they played, but it can't have been much before they started looking exciting. Was it the Astana one?
Astana was the first event. So Yakinda was still a stand-in then. It was Molodoy's first ever big event. They did fourth place Astana. We have to talk about Dallas. They came ninth to 12th, but remember they flew from Astana to Dallas and played the same day.
Yeah.
So like, cool, whatever. Then they went to the major, 5th to 8th, Cologne, 5th to 6th, constantly playoffs, yeah? Major and Cologne playoffs, huge. 3rd to 4th at London, and now 1st in Fisher. And also, I saw people, and these people, they're not the smartest cookies in the world, because they said, oh, it's not an S tier event. It's not a tier 1 event. Bro, you have 6 of the 10 best teams who accepted invites there, yeah? It has an MVP award from HLTV. This is an S tier, A tier, S tier, big event, tier 1 event, whatever you want to call it. This is the elite style events. This
A hundred
qualifies
percent,
without a doubt.
100%.
It's not in question. The people trying
No,
to downplay this, they beat Mongols in the final. Mongols were
if
one of the
people
most
have their
consistent
own
teams.
tier list and how that works in their own brain, that's fine. But in the real world,
There's
this is a tier one event.
Yeah, but there's only 2 tier lists. Yeah. There is Liquipedia do things in like S tier, A tier, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then HLTV do big events. They're the only ones I'm taking seriously.
yeah.
Yeah. Valve has a tier list. This is tier 1, so that's the highest tier. Yeah. That's all I need. That's all that matters. There's no other question around it. Like I'm not even gonna spend any more time talking about
But
that.
but essentially, my question to you is, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this is debatable: is Molodoy and Gekindar a better pickup than Rops to Vitality?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just because of, I'm not saying obviously Vitality, they were already a really really good team. They were in the top of the scene. They make
Mm-hmm.
that pickup, and they obviously excel from that point and win those trophies, especially in the first half year. I can't remember, was it 8 in a row, 7, 6,
Seven in a row.
7? So they get those 7 titles. But in terms of Furia, they were counted out. They weren't even in the conversation, let alone even the people with the most hope or delusion, one might say, at that point would have not even have guessed that they would be this competitive.
No.
So the jump up from those switches, I think, is a bigger kind of,
Well, the trophies mean more.
they
Yeah.
do,
The trophies
but
mean
the
more, but
impact,
Vitality were already a trophy title contender. So
yes,
I like it's hard to balance out what this is. So I'm with you,
but
yeah.
it's debatable.
But it's definitely a debate you can have. And like, for example, what they had to go through on Fury is a lot more. Switching language, bringing in a rookie, um, having Yakinda who was in a slump at the time. I
Nice
sneezed and
save.
muted in time, bro. That was impeccable timing. We're gonna have to get used to this on this podcast for this episode. I'm going to a doctor tomorrow, without a doubt. But yeah, this is like everything is legitimate about what Furia had, and the rise up and the gain they've had is huge. It's actually huge.
Yeah,
But
100%.
let's talk about Molodoi, right? I already said on this podcast multiple times he's rookie of the year. Well, guess what? He just got an MVP for his first tier 1 trophy. And
I think
just
he just
imagine,
cemented rookie of the year.
yeah, and just imagine, his English is still not perfect. Just imagine. And I'm gonna keep telling this story. I met him in Astana. Yeah. They make playoffs, and he was like, "It's not good enough. I can still be better." They got eliminated in 4th place. He was like, "I played bad," and he wasn't playing bad, but he sets his standards so high. He's not ego driven. Yeah. He's not blaming his teammates. He's saying, "I can do better. I want to do better." He's got, for me, completely the right attitude and the right players around him that's like helping him excel.
Yeah.
And this is a reward for that, because he doesn't have a crazy ego. Yes, all players have an ego to some degree, but he's not sat there saying, like, I'm going to be best in the world. He's come through, been unhappy with different performances, knew that, like, when he got eliminated from London, I saw him and he was like, it's not good enough. I'm not happy. This is the words he's using all the time because he wants more and he wants to do better. That's what you want to hear from your players, right? No
No,
excuses,
100%.
just like understanding the flaws, understanding what he did wrong.
And I mean, it is super impressive. I mean, not only Molodoy, by the way, like Fallen and Furia scout him, because I don't even know how they did it. I would love to. if you or I am at an event with Fallen, I
No,
need
but
to
we
go.
know. We know.
You know?
We spoke about this. We
My
spoke about it
brain
here.
is
So
foggy.
um, they played pugs against him. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
they played matches against him in practice games when he was on Amcal and they were getting dominated by him. And Gary started looking at him, coaching staff started looking at him. Fallen said, like, if we're gonna do this, I want this guy. And that was their whole decision making behind it.
that is.
Basically getting dominated in practices and having a good view for the eye test. And by the way, I'll say this: there's
This
many
is
players.
exactly how we picked up Madden, by the way.
Yeah, but
When he
how
was
many people can't scout like this, bro? Like, how many top tier teams don't actually like? They'll see the stats, but they don't see the actual. Because sometimes I see players and they'll be like I don't know, 1.5, 1.4 rating, but I can see the way they're moving. I can see
yeah.
the way they're approaching things in the game and say, if he was on a better team, if he got this chance here, this guy could cook. This guy could do really well. And that's what
No,
they
it's
found.
and it's impressive in the sense not only that they find a kid like this and they feel that sense, but the balls to make it happen and gamble
Yeah.
on that kind of decision,
Switch to
obviously with a
English with a kid
lot
that
on the
doesn't speak
line.
English.
Yes, a lot on the line, changing language. Obviously, if this wouldn't have worked out, the risk from kind of losing the fans in
hmm
that perspective. Obviously, Brazilian scene wants it to be Brazilian, and if I think obviously they love him at the moment, but
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
things didn't work out, they would have probably been a little bit
Throw him under the
angry, I
bus.
suppose.
Yeah.
um that's at least how I view it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could see people kind of turning really quick on the decision if it didn't work out.
Yeah, but that's always right. That's the sad
Yeah.
part of it all. I'm gonna look down as well because I didn't take a good look at this. So if we look, so it was him and K Serato, by the way, who were pulling the heavy lifting for them. Mazzillo had a good game for the Mongols as well, like 1.19 rating across the whole event. But if we look,
We have predictions, by the way.
oh, we got it now, yeah.
Yes, in the
Talk to
document.
me. Talk to me. Let's have a look.
Okay, I mean, we're gonna have to kind of play through this with. I mean, okay, we had initial matchups. Do you want to start
Yep.
there, or do you want to go with the playoffs?
Now go with initial matchups. See if we were right. Were we right about everything on initial matchups? No, Mongols lost to 3D
Um,
Max. So
yes.
let's do it from the top. Tyloo versus Game Legion. We both think Tyloo. Tyloo won or not?
Let me just get into the tournament here.
Yeah, you go on the tournament. I'll go down to predictions.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first game,
So
Tyloo versus Game Legion.
results: Tyloo Gamer Legion. Tyloo
Yep.
won.
Cool. We were correct there. Mongols 3D Max. I think 3D
3D
Max
Max
won.
won.
We got that both wrong.
Okay, I do not believe any of us was Virtus Pro believers. So, well, Falcons did win against VP.
Cool. I
It
said
was
Aurora over
Aurora,
Astralis.
Astralis. What did I say?
You said Astralis.
Okay, Aurora won 2-1.
Legacy Heroic. I said Legacy. You said Heroic.
Legacy won 2-1.
You got cooked today, bro. G2 Lin
Uh,
Vision. We said G2, both of us.
G2 Lim Vision. Yes, both G2, G2 won.
Phase Pain.
Phase 1.
Yeah, we both predicted that. Furia Liquid. Furia
Furia
won.
won.
Yep. Okay, so you got 3 incorrect. I only got 1 incorrect.
You're lucky on both of
What
this
you,
Aurora
what
and
you
Legacy
mean
one.
lucky?
But
Bro,
both lost in
Aurora,
overtime.
but bro, Aurora Astralis, you were cooking in your brain thinking that they were going to win that.
Yeah, but they lost us to an overtime.
Da, da, da.
They could have just as easily 2-0'd. Heroic won first, Map lost in overtime second, just as Astralis. So I was
Okay,
on to something.
who made playoffs then?
Okay, I will check who made playoffs.
8-6.
So we have G2 made playoffs.
Yep.
Mongols made playoffs.
Yep.
Aurora made playoffs.
Yep.
Liquid made playoffs.
That's what we didn't have. Both of us did not have that.
Yeah, Furia made playoffs.
Yep.
Astralis made playoffs.
You had, I didn't.
Falcons made playoffs, and Pain. I don't think
Payne made
anyone's.
no. So we messed up on phase, both of us. So my playoffs predictions were worse than yours. I got phase and phase. Oh, we both got Tyloo wrong. We both got
Yes.
phase wrong, and I got 3D Max wrong. So you did better on the playoffs
On
predictions.
the most important
Oh,
part
here
of
we
it.
go. Here we go. And then we both predicted Mongols to win, and that didn't
Yes.
happen. But they were in the final. Ah, not too bad for us. Not
We'll
too
take
bad.
it. We'll take it.
Yeah. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Um, so the storylines are huge, by the way. And I think also for Yakinda, let me have a look, Yaki. I can't remember the interview and what was said, but I think people mentioned already that it was like his first win.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's
First ever
crazy.
win. First ever big event trophy. He's won second twice, EPL with Liquid and World Final with Liquid. Even his time on
He did
VP
win
wasn't great.
Flashpoint too.
That's not a big event.
True.
I've done big event filters, not them.
Well, that's kind of crazy.
So yeah, that is coming out of a slump. He has
Yep.
rised and rised again, and he is looking super sharp. He's actually back. And I spoke, by the way, I spoke to Daston about this at StarLadder because he was there at Paravision, and he
Yep.
said Yakinda's even not back to the best of his ability, but he is helping the team so much. His experience, the way he can look around the map and control a map. So, and still, he added a
I just still
1.11 rating for this
wonder,
event.
like, obviously we see this Yekindar now and he's not fully back, but what the hell went wrong in Liquid? Like, why was it so abysmal, and why has this,
I think the
different
conditions were
kind
bad.
of lineups
You
just.
you have you take over in-game leader at one point. You have Cadian as in-game leader at one point. You have Twist as an in-game leader at one point. There's just no consistency. And I don't think he was able to play his CS. We'll have to ask him one time. We'll have to get him on and ask him.
But
Because
it's just, yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, it's a fall off to a big rise. And by the way, this is like a solid performance for him. 1.11 rating across that event, 18 maps played. Pretty solid. You take that. You take that all day. But that's enough Fury glazing. I think it was great what Fallen said that this can now unlock the potential in their confidence for future events. You know, this can be the thing that he saw it before on Luminosity SK, where it shows them that they can win, shows them that they can do it, you know?
Yeah.
And it makes me more excited to see what they can do at future events. And I don't care if they bomb out of EPL, because that's not such a high caliber event in the grand scheme of things. But I'm excited to see what it means for the future events. And look at how blessed we are with
This
teams and
major
organizations that can win this major, man.
This major is going to be absolute insanity. Like, it might
Mm-hmm.
be one of the most competitive majors we've ever had, if not the, because
Yeah,
going into it, having, so many top teams that you could cheer for, you could predict as a winner and not be insane. Because you have Furia, I mean, Furia won events, G2 won events, Falcons could have a resurgence and do well. You have
yep,
Spirit, Mongols, obviously. I mean, just that list there is hyper competitive, and
definitely.
it just makes me super excited for the major because, yeah, anything can happen, and that's where we want to be. We don't want to be in a. Yes, I know it's cool to have, Vitality be the best team of all time kind of titles written all
Depends on
over.
the
But it's a
narrative you
little
want.
bit boring. It's a little bit boring for a viewer. You want multiple, available winners, and you want to be the one that's, is cheering for the team that's going to win. And
Yeah.
you want to be able to tell your mates, I was right, you were wrong in some sense.
Right, oh yeah, I ride or die on that being the only one that predicted Navi to win the Copenhagen Major. That was
Yeah.
me. Blind delusion, may it
But
be, but it
isn't that
serves me.
great?
And
Isn't
it's
that
true
like,
fandom. It's true
yeah,
fandom. All right, let's because we're already like nearly 40 minutes into the podcast. We need to look at also the other teams that were here, right? Mongols. This was not a bad event for them. I think they're going to be kicking themselves about the overtime on Mirage, for example. That's going to sting for them.
yep.
Definitely like their wheelhouse, but they lost Mirage quite a lot this event. Um, I don't think there's any alarm bells. They're still super consistent. They're still a fantastic team. But like, how many finals do these guys need to lose, man? Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Still so many, by the way, Mongol supporters in Serbia. The Mongolian Empire is everywhere. That's actually they are at every event. There are always some fans, always some supporters.
I think there is a team to love, even if you're
Yeah.
not necessarily Mongolian. But in a neutral match, I feel like everyone would lean towards cheering for the Mongols, no matter who they were up against.
By the way, look at their like performances this year, right?
Yeah,
Top four almost every time. Then after the major, second place Austin Major, fifth to sixth Cologne, second place Blast Bounty, first Esports World Cup, second place Fisher. This is solid. This is really solid, and
it's really, really good.
it's just an on the day thing with them. On the day they can win it, this wasn't their day. Who else should we look at in this? Who else is there? I've got so many tabs open now that I'm getting lost. Right,
Yeah,
here we
I'm
go.
I'm in the same boat here.
Um, Falcons. I'm going to say this: it's nothing disappointing with the Falcons because you lost to Furia in the end. But like you 2-0'd everyone and then got 2-0'd by Furia. They smashed VP, Legacy, FaZe, Pain, and then Furia just did him. Just did him over.
And I
I think
kind of
that,
want to mention Astralis with Magisk. Kind of this was a tougher event than they've been in at previously. Still made a
yeah.
playoff with Magisk. Something. I think there's been quite a few haters on that Magisk move.
It's not even his fault, right? He's just standing in.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, if you just look at some of the stats, he did not look bad stats wise. Definitely an improvement from his Falcons days. So I think that's a good sign. I think that he has more in him.
Oh, definitely. This is just the beginning of it all as well, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to just keep an eye on where they can go with it. Um, Liquid, by the way, this was so important for them for VRS. Oh my god! Out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere.
But it also makes me a little bit mad that this is possible.
What the
Like
dead team?
it's not a dig at Liquid specifically. I think we've been through like multiple of these moments where we've had a team. I mean, even Ref EG at one point when they were so freaking shit, they were losing literally every single game they entered. And they
Yeah,
did that for over a 6 months period. And I remember they did well at one event, and all of a sudden the rankings were saved. And this is pre VRS, by the way.
yeah.
But the system still has similarities in the way that they can save rankings. Because I don't know. It feels so weird that if you get into a spot where you're, a top 10, top 15 teams, that you have this buffer period of a time where you could
Yep.
be absolutely rubbish for 4 months and you win two best of threes and you're clean out of it of any kind of consequence for that bad period.
Snappy spoke
Now,
about it.
yeah, and it's it's pretty shit because if you look at some tier two kind of teams,
Hmm.
they are, they find a consistent form. They're good for 6 months straight, and they can't even be, they win 90-80% of their games. They don't even have a way to perform better,
But they
and they
need the
can't,
lands.
take their opportunities better than they have, and they will never even get close to being able to reach the points of one best of three on land for one of these teams.
But that's the pain of it right now, right? Why they're going to
Yeah.
so many small events at the same
But
time.
that's not a dig at Liquid, it's a dig at the system. I don't
Yep.
personally think that it should be like that. I'm happy that Liquid found their form. It's going to be interesting to see who they actually replace Twists with.
But
Um,
look at the teams they beat. Like they beat Heroic, Tyloo, FaZe, Aurora. So they deserve the rankings. They jump up and they enter
yeah,
to
yeah,
fourth. The prize money coming in there. The fact it was on LAN. Like now they are 14th in the VRS ranking. Like that's crazy for them. Crazy for them.
it is. I mean, it saved
It
potentially
saved
even
their
their
major.
Counter Strike division to some extent because
Yeah.
who knows what would have happened if they didn't qualify for the major?
It was a nice present from Twist before he left.
Yeah, very nice.
By the way, I think I know who's going to take his place as well.
You do?
Yeah, I think I do. Well, shall I say it now?
Okay.
So, a lot of people were saying Elige goes over to Navi, right? But Navi won't make a change before the major happens. So, FaZe had Elige there. Twist, Elige, expensive players. I don't think either FaZe or Liquid want to spend any more money on their teams. So, there was some sort of a deal made, maybe with some cash on the side, and they put Elige into Liquid. I think Elige is going back to
Makes
Liquid now. Twist
sense.
isn't there. I think that's how you work it because these buyouts would be huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a mid-season that can work. And the fact he's got them points, they both effectively can play the major.
True. I think that makes a lot of sense for both parties that they don't have to scramble and gamble on getting someone
Yeah.
in that's potentially going to be an financial risk for them. They just get a suitable replacement, both sides, maybe some extra part of an agreement, maybe on maybe FaZe has to pay a little bit more than the Liquid has to for Elite, just because it felt like FaZe were the one requesting this move in some sense.
You mean FaZe would have to pay for twists? Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
like a swap deal in football.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
a
a swap, but like you pay a few
plus a
hundred
little
K
bit
to
on
have
the
twists.
side.
Yeah. Take this, sweeten the
Yeah,
deal, make it all work out, and go from there with it. But yeah, keep your eye on that. We come back to it if actually it's confirmed. But I think it's going to be a Liege goes through. A
should be
Liege
interesting.
into it would be, I think it'd be very good for both parties anyway, because like FaZe's gonna be happy with Twist, but this sorts out a lot of problems getting a very aggressive player on a Liege. Um, it's how he'll work in that dynamic. That's another thing, but at least as a player in there, it can be pretty good.
Yeah,
All right, so we touched on Liquid. Their run was cool. Pain making top eight. That's just pretty nice to them. It's probably very much needed for them, considering the bad spots they've been in. Oh, about Falcons, by the way.
yeah.
You feel like because of what their goals are, if they made top four, top eight at the major, they would still make a change after the major. Or would that be considered not good enough? Because by the way, there was no vitality, there was no spirit here, there was no malice here, and you make top four. I start to think, oh, do they start to consider a potential change once again?
But I
One
mean,
more
at
roster
some point,
move.
you gotta stick with your guns. Like, how many change are they all? Are they gonna kick Tessus now and find another superstar and mess up the rules against with which they've just about started to figure things out on? I just feel like, come on, like, I mean,
I don't agree with it. I'm not saying do
I
it, but I mean,
understand the Kyosuke one because it's kind of a lifetime opportunity
yeah.
deal where they went through it, but it put them in a terrible position because they were challenging for trophies with
Hmm.
Magisk, and they had to take a step back, change pretty
Yep.
much everything in the structure of the team. So no, I think at some point you have to realize that you can't just buy the best team in the world
And
and
win.
it will work out.
Yep.
There's steps that you have to take. I mean, just listen to a Blade interview like with you on the couch at StarLadder. It's step by step. And that
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't take a week, it doesn't take a month, it doesn't take 2 months. You can be competitive and be lucky in a honeymoon period after three, like Furia as an example, but there's a lot of hard work involved in it, and overconfidence is, you know, to quote the Darkest Dungeon, a slow and insidious killer.
All right. Well, on everything else on Fissure, not too much else to say. I think G2. I didn't expect them to come in and win another event again. I don't think it's going to be disappointing for them because of the high of London. It's not the end of the world. Aurora, I will say, they're still struggling even with a support person now and an analyst now. Like
But
there's
aren't
something
they
wrong
in
with
the
them on
exact
stages.
same position which they were? They make it to playoff and then they just lose.
Yeah, against anyone, even Liquid.
Yeah. So I mean
Nothing's
something,
changing.
like, yes, you can bash them a little bit for memes and fun, but at this point it's starting to become like a reality of an issue. Like it's so, continuous that you
Yeah,
can't ignore it.
exactly. So it's just if they end the year and it's continuously like that, we still got a few more events to go, right? Then it's a problem. I think, by the way, VP, considering they had the academy kid in, the first ever time VP's brought an academy kid into the team and Perfecto in-game leading, 9 to 11 isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad, you know? Game Legion didn't benefit from their Swiss system boost. Didn't happen this time. Well, no, wait, so they always do bad at Swiss system, right? Yeah,
Swiss
normally it's
system is
bad Swiss
bad.
system. Swiss system's bad for them. Okay, so I guess that's okay for Game Legion. They ended up, how did the new guy do? Oh, the new guy's not here yet. Okay, this was the last event
No.
with Kersey then. Okay, that's fine then. That's actually, you can accept that result. You can take that one on the chin.
Yeah.
That's completely acceptable. Um, Tyloo, I still want a bit more from them. I think that's very disappointing. They're always a bit hit and miss at the moment. 3D Max, by the way, started off with a win against Mongols and then end up in 12th to 14th. It's kind
Yeah,
of
they have
eh.
they won the first map against FaZe as well, and then they just crumbled complete. Um, Lost to Gamer Legion, won the first map there as well.
Yep.
Went to VP. This one must be heartbreaking for them because they lost 13-11, won 13-5, lost 13-11
See,
in that 1-2 match.
that's rough. But that's the way CS plays out sometimes. For Lin Vision and Heroic, I'm not surprised by that. Same for kind of Legacy. And now we know about the changes in phase. Like you lost in that last spot for playoffs to Liquid. Liquid just played like a beast once their new changes were coming. So it's all
Yeah.
right. By the way, I'm sending you a link on Discord as well.
All right.
Um, but my last thing on Fisher, by the way, will be obviously I praise the talent work, the shift they had to put in, 100% there because it's a crazy thing. I will say on it was definitely a tier one event. We spoke about Fisher's potential financial problems. This was their first big arena event. They obviously you could see they locked off so much of the crowd, yeah. So they put a big stage there. Maybe they're worried about ticket sales and stuff. I will say Serbia's wanted an event like this. And remember, Russians can travel to Serbia. It's got like friendly with Russia and Serbia. So I expected a bigger turnout. The grand final wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best crowd considering. I just in my mind expected more. I thought it would be better in that sense. And that's not Fisher's fault. That's just people not attending. I don't know, maybe, especially you had Nico and Hunter playing in like a home crowd. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a bit meh overall.
I didn't actually see anything of the crowd yet, so I
They were very good with the like close camera shots, like kind of what we do on like a normal event on a Friday, but like having to do it more often. But like sometimes on the grand final, it went to the crowd and there was just a lot of empty seats in there. Maybe people can tell us wrong and they say like I was there and it was a good vibe, but I mean, I don't know the capacity. Obviously, a lot of like I said, the seats were closed off, but I just felt like it's a country that's quite easy to travel to. You would expect more. I would expect more fans in there. Um, but overall, the event did a good job, was very important for VRS, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. So we can go from any final thoughts from you on it?
no,
Cool.
uh, not really.
Then let's go from there to StarLadder. Now, this we can go into a bit more detail because we were both there.
Yes, and I did watch every single game.
Bro, so did I. Funny enough.
Yeah.
You couldn't not because we were the only ones doing it the whole time. We were
Yes.
just grinding it out. Oh, sorry, Frankie was as well. Frankie was your host, was doing
Yeah.
it as well. But some other people changed in and out and went through it all. This, by the way, is an A tier event in terms of Liquipedia. It's also a tier one event though in Valve. Now I don't agree with this, but I'm guessing it's just because it's LAN and it has a $500,000 prize pool. But a tier one event for this doesn't work for me. Yes, Valve call it tier one, but it is still like it's technically a tier two, tier three event. Blade himself
It's
called it a
like
tier two event or tier two, tier
it's
three.
it's more towards the tier 2 events just because I think obviously you have kind of the top dogs of tier 2 fighting it out with a Navi on the side.
But it's only Navi.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean
it's only
that's
Navi.
what it is, you know. Um so yes, I'd agree with that, but the prize pool obviously kind of bumps it up into a
Helps it a
different
lot.
category.
And also, this was I like it's called the StarLadder Star Series Season 19. For some reason, HLTV just didn't name it correctly. They put Star Series Full 2025, which is not what it's called. It is the Star Series Season 19. Um, but it was basically a Star Series test event before the major. You know, get back to Counter Strike, get back through it all. I think the quality um, that they put on was actually really good, from cameras to the production overall. Yes, there were some tech problems. I expected that. It wasn't great. Some of the long terms we had to wait. Some of the tech problems, by the way, were server issues from the update. Like
Oh
StarLadder was
yeah.
trying to contact Valve to see what could be done. So that's just kind of one of those things. But we can start with Navi. Obviously, they went on to win it. They were expected to win this, right?
Yeah.
And Blade quoted me correctly. He said that, yeah, he's not focused on trophies. This is a trophy they're expected to win. He's talking about like the big event trophies, you know, the S
Yeah.
tier trophies. So, okay, they started off slightly worrying against nine. Yeah.
Very worrying against 9, I'd say.
Dude, I was sweating throughout that game.
I mean, you
They
have
could have
to
lost
put it
Inferno.
into context. They're at a tier 2 event, as we've just
Mhm.
framed it. They're playing the worst team in the entire tournament because that is how the seeding has worked out, that they get the
Mhm.
easiest matchup.
Yep.
Um, and the first thing that happens is they get almost demolished on Ancient because it was actually 9 having full control over that map. It wasn't some lucky break. It looked like, you know, Navi looked completely out of it. They looked tilt for the 21 rounds that they played in this first game of Ancient.
Yep.
You could see the body language was completely wrong. You could see they almost like, I want to say they played a little bit like chickens, like they didn't actually impose themselves on the server. They let Nine kind of dictate them all around. And obviously, I've seen Nine. I think
Yeah.
that, you know, and I've seen them on Ancient, and they have like a huge. One of their biggest strengths is you see just running out mid on different timings and constantly finding entries and success there. And it didn't really look like Navi was ready for it.
They were not ready for it. And it was a good slap in the face, though. It was a good wake up call.
Yeah,
Then it was a lot better on Nuke, right? We saw the full strength of Navi coming out. But then even on the third map, Alexi tried to tell me, like, no, we were fine on Inferno. But I'm gonna say
that didn't look
it
fine.
didn't look fine, bro. Like you had a swing round on, I don't know
I'm
where it
pretty
was, like,
sure they won a force buy, which just would have cemented Nine's lead, and
yeah,
yeah, it just didn't look great.
and yeah, okay, the scoreline says 13-8 Navi win on the last map, but it was very close. It was
Yeah,
very close. Luckily, though, Alexi stuck to his words, though, and said, "We won't drop a map after this." Yeah, and they didn't. They went through 2-0 Passion UA, demolishing them on train. 2-0 the Ninjas. I would say the first time they played Ninjas in Pajamas in the upper final, the nuke was actually pretty. If it started better from Ninjas, they
it
could
was a
have
pretty
taken that map.
dominant. It was a pretty dominant nuke, to be fair, from Navi.
In the first
Uh,
half, right? But there was, I think, if they
yes,
just started better, because Exist told me when I spoke to him, he said that we were in spawn confused about what we're doing. Like people didn't understand some of what they said they were supposed to do,
yeah. I
which
mean, that's not
obviously
a great.
isn't, it's not great at all. But then they play again in the grand final. The scoreline gets worse, but then the Inferno, god damn, Navi almost dropped the ball on that Inferno, their pick. And we got to remind people that Snappy never used to play this map. Like he's only started to incorporate it now with this team.
I mean, I think that's the part where I'm most impressed by Navi is that Inferno kind of comeback, just
Hmm.
mentally. Something that maybe people kind of criticized them in the past for, where their body language, obviously, I mentioned it even earlier, where their body language doesn't look up to par. They seem tilt, wonderful. He's kind of
Yeah.
sighing and looking, leaning back into his chair every time he
I asked him
dives.
about that.
I know, but NIP were 8-0 up on the CT side.
Yeah.
8-0. And they managed to come back from a 9-3 deficit at the half to win 13-10. I think
Yeah.
it's it's one of those things where I think this is a really good sign for Navi because
Hmm.
they started so freaking shaky this entire tournament. And to be able to slowly kind of build that mental resilience as they went through games, they had a couple of hiccups here and there, but they managed to kind of shut them down in the end. And it
Hmm.
felt like they just faster and faster could recover in these moments compared to, you know, even some of the events in the past. And I
Yeah.
hope that they kind of take this lesson into them and also remind themselves, like, okay, guys, even if let's just pretend they're playing against even a top team at the major or whatever, and they're 8-0 down, they could use this experience and kind of say, like, look, guys, we've done this before. Let's remind ourselves of what happened against NIP and kind of push through that in a sense, just
Yeah.
mentally, that there's an ability within this team to make those comebacks.
Yeah. Very important for him as well. And like Makazi, obviously his first ever trophy. He's won some Kosovo lands back to back, 2023 and 2024. But this is like his first real trophy as a sense. And yes, it may only be an A-tier trophy, but Blade said it best. This is good for him getting more officials under his belt, going through these emotions. And look, he made all of our Bad News Eagles boys very proud. I posted the picture of him, me and him in the. By the way, shout out Makazi one time. Look, I'm just going on his Twitter now. Makazi. His picture he put up for his first trophy, randomly he put it with the picture of me and him. He's like, first
Really?
place in StarLadder CS, GG's to everyone we played. Look, I'll send it to you. And it's me and him. I did not expect that because I asked him for a picture, right? Because I was like, I'm proud to see a Kosovo
Oh
boy,
yeah.
yeah, have this. And he uploaded his own picture with me. I was like, bro, this is your trophy. I'm just here. But you know what? He said, because I messaged him when he first joined Navi, and I
Yeah.
just told him, I said, like, you deserve this, yeah? But just at first, enjoy it because it's going to be hard. And then I also messaged him, this is like DMs on Twitter before Cologne playoffs. And I said, you had a shit first map, but you came back into it. Like you
Yeah.
mentally came back into it and showed yourself. I said, that's something you can be proud of. And no one can take that away from you. And I think I don't know. I think he just like the little chats we have. He's funny, man. He's scared of dogs, and I have my little dog with me the whole time.
He's a classic Kosovo.
Bro, he tried telling me. And I said, there's no way. Why? I said, how are these crazy, masculine, hyper Albanian Kosovo boys scared of dogs. The dog is this big. My dog is tiny.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been obviously with the B&E boys when we've
Yeah,
done boot camps, and some of the owners or other teams or people who work in kind of the office spaces where we have boot camped have
yeah.
had dogs, and the B&E boys, they run and they become extremely feminine all of a sudden when once a dog has entered the room. And it's so funny that, you were sitting on the couch in Makase. I was laughing my ass off when I actually saw that. And you were like,
The
"You
dog
don't
running.
like dogs, right?" And he's like, "No." Like instantly. Kind of
Oh man.
sheltering
But
in some sense.
this is an important win for Navi, right?
Yeah.
Just for the mentality of the team. And I'm glad you said about the vibes and stuff already because it's good. And this is what they needed. This is a step in the right direction. And Blade always has some sort of master plan he's cooking up. And this is all to do with it. I do wish the grand finals were best of five, but StarLadder are just going through the testing of it all, doing it
Yeah.
their way. Some of the other teams we can touch on here, your boys in OG.
Oh my god, what
Boy,
a
you
terrible,
you tried
terrible,
hyping me up on our preview about
terrible,
OG.
terrible,
You
terrible
tried telling
performance.
me. You tried telling me like, oh yeah, actually, I've watched them. I've seen them. You did the qualifier that had OG in, and I'm like, okay, I don't. Like I said, I can't say anything. I've not watched these guys. I don't know. But you didn't come close to being right about this one. They were
No,
not the
I
same
mean,
team, man.
what can I say? I think OG. I mean, obviously they shit the bed. They had a 12-5 lead
Yeah.
against Bait. Somehow managed to lose that from, I mean, positions that were just unlosable. I think it was one I remember specifically on Mirage where
Hmm.
they had Kristen and Nikodos in a 1v2. They obviously knew as the B player coming last, and
Yep.
Nikodos just does this crazy, it's almost like he picks up the round, like the knife, and just runs around completely open on the A bomb site and just speeds his way through like a Ferrari to CT and does the widest jiggle I've ever seen and dies, which
Yeah.
just leaves Christian into a 1v1. I mean, Nikolas could have literally done nothing and they would have won that round. But he just decided to like, okay, let's die. Let's find like a speed run.
Hmm.
I'm gonna submit this to speedrun.com or something, and how to lose a 1v2.
Yep.
In some sense, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
No,
it, it
I get what
was
you mean.
it was a round where he literally did not have to make steps. He didn't have to make noise. He could have just hidden con because he was in con, and Christian was like kind of a round window and short. And he could have just, they had bomb planted towards con and short. He could have just stayed. There was no reason to pick up ground in that 2v1. So
Yeah.
yeah, just a little bit disappointing to see them kind of throw that in that manner. Um, yeah, very very weird. And then
I will.
obviously
I'll
they
say
lost
that
against
Crizzen.
NIP in the opening game.
Yeah, but I'll say that Crizzen. He's earned my respect in the fact that he's 19 years old, in-game leader, does a lot of work for the team, can frag out as well.
Yeah,
He is quote unquote at this tier of fragging IGL. Um, did the loser interview, by the way. Didn't
yeah,
complain. Didn't try to
respect.
pass it off to the coach. Sat there and did it with me like a man. Held his own. So like, fair play to him. Um, but it
The
is
one
worrying
thing that I will
signs.
say about OG, I think if they did not throw this match against Bait, they would have been in that consolidation finals and had a rematch against NIP. I am almost 100% sure.
OG was disappointing for you. It's also going to depend on now. I don't think they got a chance to make the major, right?
Yeah, but it's very slim. I think the latest one that I saw was 6.8 or 6.9% to make the
Oh,
major. So
I'll
they
be
pretty
honest,
much
that's
have
not
to
happening.
win every single game. And I think, is it Draculand they're going to?
Yep.
Let me just quickly check. And I think they have to win that one. And I think to some extent, people that are above them cannot do well.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
that's
necessarily in their own hands
they're
at
kind
this
of
point.
cooked.
Yeah.
They are kind of cooked. That's
And
tough.
and they were one of, one of the ones at the start of the event who had the highest, probability of making the major alongside with someone like NIP. So I think they, because they lost those two games and didn't pick up a single win,
Yep.
they just killed their major chances.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed them.
Especially the fact it was on land against this opposition as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it was their chance to kind of farm points.
Next is nine, but I'm not going to be too harsh on nine because nine obviously lost Fozy. We spoke about it with Rouse. Um, they lost to Navi, but they put up a good fight. It's just a gentlemates game, right? You saw in
They
that
didn't
Rouse
look into
interview,
it.
he
Yeah.
was so sad. He was lost in that interview with me.
Yeah, and I mean,
He knows it cost them.
he's saying the right things. I mean, they didn't play CT. They just couldn't get anything going on CT sides. They had some decent T sides.
Yep.
They, if you just look at things like from a normal CS perspective, like if they would have picked up the average rounds on CT, they would have probably picked up a map or maybe even two on that series. So it's a difficult one, especially with how they started the event. You know, you're almost getting hyped up about them because they
Yeah.
push Navi so close. Um,
It
and
made you
then
believe.
yeah, and then they just fell flat. And I do think, like you say, we have to be pretty nice with them because they
Their
qualified to this
situation is
event with
really bad.
Fusi. They had to pick up, a
Modo
stand-in.
again, who's
Yeah,
already
and
playing for them before, relearn things, go over stuff.
it's like you want to motivate yourself and kind of make new strats, make new stuff for an important event like this, and
Yeah.
kind of make sure you have the map pool you want and is ready. But when you pick up a stand in, you kind of have to remind them of everything you have just to make sure that your old stuff is working, which just obviously kills any time that you have to reinvent yourself or add new strats or
Hmm.
come with kind of a something shocking. So it's probably pretty easy for teams to kind of look at demos. This is what they have. This is what they're gonna do, and 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 just have a better idea of how nine were playing and kind of
Yeah.
disrupt that. So in that sense, there was a lot of negatives for nine going into this, and considering all that, I still think they should be pretty happy with their performance, just because of that first game.
Yeah. Something to take away as a positive. Do you think
Yeah,
they should pick up Modo?
I think Modo looked good. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think
I think they can fit him in.
yeah, I know, that Modo, he played good. He was probably one of their better players in terms of
Yes.
impact. So I see no reason not to pick him up.
I
Like,
said it on the interview. I was like, "You want to stay?" He's like, "Yes." I said, "Rouse, you want to stay?" Yeah. I was like, "Cool. Let's make this happen, guys. Let's go forward. Let's do something."
yeah.
Because
So I mean, it also depends what options do they have. I mean, it's I think Modo did really good, and why not?
yeah. Paravision next. They ended in 56th place. Beat Bait
Yeah,
2-0. Then got slapped by Ninjas. And in the Gentlemates game, Daston said it very well. It's the experience that cost them the game.
yeah. I think
And
that's shown through.
yeah, like they have some individual like AW sometimes. Woo, that guy's got some crazy control in him, some sharp aim. Beltranok as well, by the way. Fair play to him, giving interviews in English, doing pretty good as well.
Yeah,
They've been on boot camp for 8 months. So Jame and
that's
Daston live with
crazy.
their wives on boot camp, like in their own obviously apartments, right? But the thing is, the players are living on boot camp. Like it's a full. We are here. This is our grind. This is what we're gonna do. Like the old Gambit youngster style.
Yeah,
That's impressive, and to get James to do it at his point in his career is crazy as well. Fair play to his wife for agreeing to it.
yeah. I
He
think
gave
that's
a good
the one
interview
of
with
the
all that.
most difficult parts of that deal.
It's like, so you're gonna move to Serbia, be on a boot camp, and
Could
you're
you
not
could you
leaving.
do that? Would Lily agree to that?
If it wasn't Serbia, maybe
Yeah.
it was a different. Yeah, it was a different country. Give us some sun, we could come to an agreement. Give us Portugal, fine.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. All right.
give us so you could do London, Portugal, or Ukraine. She's gonna be happy. But to say Serbia, which is quite grey, quite dark, somehow I don't think it's too bad there. I like we've liked it both times we've gone to HLTV awards in Serbia, but it's not somewhere I think I'm going to say I want to live.
Can we actually make small cut in this video? I need to. There's a beeping sound in the background, and that is the laundry.
This bot, this bot and his laundry.
I can still hear you, by the way.
I know, that's fine. Bot.
Wow,
Yeah, your lighting's changing. That's good. We get back to it.
you're a bot at Dragon Ball.
Hey, not yet. Not yet. Not quite there. You can't until you play this game with me, you can't talk anything
Okay,
at all.
okay.
Cool. So I think Paravision, they probably got no chance at a major. They're going to the Landerland in Moscow. It's not going to be one that's going to give them enough points really to do anything to jump up. But it was an okay showing. Passion UA. Oh, Passion UA. I can accept them getting 2-0 by Navi in their current state. Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't accept them losing Train the way they did. Because it's not just because it's their pick, but this is a map that I always know that they were good at. They started playing this like as soon as Train came, they were like, okay, that's going to be our map. They decided that.
Yep.
And they were on a boot camp for like 12 days or something before. But I'm going to say this, right? I'll give them this. Kvem right now isn't comfortable, but I'm glad they saved him and brought him into the team. I believe with some more time they can get it done. They're going to some of these smaller lands as well. I was talking to TC before we left the hotel after breakfast this morning. So they're going to grind it out, but they still gained some good points from this. Like this was still helpful. Remember, they're fighting for the Americas points. So
Yeah, I
they're in a
think they
good
put
spot for the
themselves in a
major.
really good spot. I think we're 98% to make the major now.
That's solid.
Something like that. So as long as they don't do OG, they're fine.
Yeah, let me look where they are right now. Yeah, 95.4% chance. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's really solid. That's really good for them. But what did you make of them? Right, you still. I feel
Well,
like they
I
had
mean,
potential to do better.
I think the one thing you can criticize Passions for is just the positions they put Quem in, that they haven't made more of an effort to kind of put him into more of a comfort zone, because it looks like they just put him into Six's old roles,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I think, complete reverse of his previous playstyle, where he's been more of a playmaker in the past, where he's had more room to kind of shine and do stuff. Um, this might just be kind of a patchwork for maybe qualifying for the major
Waiting.
and not having enough time to kind of change everything. So in
Yeah.
that sense, yes, I could see it, but I would like to see them, utilize his skill set a little bit more than they have, because like playing Ivy on Train, that's not really him. I feel like he needs to be, flashed into action and put into these positions where he can make a real impact for the team.
Yep.
Uh, so that's, where I see them, because I think they have a lot more potential with Cram than they had with Sixy.
Yep.
So and obviously having a coach behind them is huge for them just in the
They
long
got
term.
support staff now as well. Passion are
Yeah.
obviously owned by Zinchenko. I spoke with the co-owner, who's a friend of Zinchenko's. Um, they're really behind this and like the move they made, even with some of the backlash they got from the Ukrainian fans. They still kept a Ukrainian player in there, but like it's still a business at the end of the day. And getting
Yeah.
to the North American points of a major is positive for these guys. And they did manage to jump up from this, so it's not a loss for them here.
No.
Next team, Gentlemates. Honestly, I don't think that I'm not gonna say they deserve to win against Fate, but they had that comeback. They were making that epic comeback on Ancient. That was a super exciting game. They were very loud. They got a few old dudes in there, right? Like rocking
I
it
think they were the
still.
oldest team in the tournament.
What's their average age? Just have a look. Average age 26.6. Yep, yep. That's Alex 29, Mopos 29, Soul's 25, David G's 24, and Martinez 24. Yeah. There. they're not got them young star talents coming through, but Martinez, oh God,
He's good, man.
sometimes
He's good.
he's good with rifle and or bro. Some of
Yeah.
those 4Ks with the all people's hitting. You notice how he doesn't. You know, some warpers take the shot and they quick switch out of it. Bro's just nope. I'm just gonna keep the AWP out. Boom, boom, boom.
No, he
Great
looked
positioning.
really good. I mean, he was just consistent. And I think one of the things when he came into the movie Star Riders team like a few years back, I think that's one of the things where you could really see that he has a really high peak when he was on that team. But he had those consistency issues where sometimes he would be completely invisible and not really show up. But I think now I'm not sure he had a single bad map, to be honest, in the entire tournament. I think he was consistently either the best player for Gentlemates or in the
Yep.
top two at least.
And
Um,
he could change games, man. And he's learned so much since the Movistar times where you were speaking about him. Because we saw him a few times on 9Z,
yep.
and like he was good on 9Z as well, but he's learned, he's grown, he's showing up in a good way. I think this is a team to watch for the future. This is definitely a team that can show up on some big events.
Yeah, I mean they have the experience. I just maybe expected a little bit more from like someone like David G. I think if he kind of, because I mean he was destroying every or topping every single stats board on the
Hmm.
qualifier for this event. He was top on ADR, KDR, you know, clutches, everything. Like he was just being a beast in that tournament. He had kind of an underwhelming one at this event. And the one thing I'll say about Gentlemen's Mates as well, like when
Yeah.
they're on, when they're hyped, they look unstoppable,
They
but they
start
are
so slow.
so easy to just quiet down. Like it looks like, yeah, like you say, they start the game and they're like 6-7-0 down, and you haven't heard anything from them, and they just look tilt, and I don't know what they're saying in Spanish, but it does. My impression is that it's a few carefully chosen tilted words.
Yeah. I would say that it's a team that if they can get over the slow starts, get better at pistols, because by the way, their force buys, second round force for them was more successful than the pistols. They were
Yeah,
god tier at no fearing, Tech 9 rushing, 5-7 plays, random MP9s mixed in, they can get those rounds. But if they didn't win those rounds and they lose pistol, lose the second force round, and then they're like, oh, we don't know how to play anymore. And like the coach said to me on one of the check-ins that Mirage is not a map they're comfortable with, and the players doubt it themselves. You got to fix that. You
yeah,
have to fix that. Like it is a must. And this is a placement they can be happy with. They said they had no expectations the whole way. Give them time, and I do think we'll see some more of them.
yeah.
But we can
I
go
agree.
from them into the team that eliminated them. Bait ended up taking third place here. And considering how badly this event started off for Bait and the amount of comebacks this team had, this is a solid result. Like Bait, bro, Bait looked terrible at the beginning. Bait
Yeah,
looked
they looked
terrible at the
really
beginning
bad.
of games. Like, I honestly, what was the second game they played where they had to come back
I
against
think
OG, right?
so. Second game was against OG. They lost first map 13-1. Then they were 12-5 down. It looked like, okay, your tournament is over. Just you know, get home. I don't know. It looked like they didn't even want to
12-5
be
down.
there. And then all of a sudden, because the one thing I'll say about Bait as well, just watching them, they
Mhm.
had these moments where they looked timid. They didn't look like they want to express themselves on the server. They were just, going into their default positions, holding, no one taking responsibility. No matter what happened on the map, no one was making movements. No one was trying to kind of counter anything. It just looked so stale and uninspired, and all of a sudden their tournament life is 99.9% over.
Yep.
They just started being aggressive. They started making creative moves. They started taking initiatives from nowhere, and they just looked alive again. And one thing also, they were like their body language, I wasn't a big
Oh,
fan of.
they're not
Um,
emotional. Only Kenzazor has any emotion in him. I swear to God.
they're
They're
not
like
emotional, but they look like, so for me they look like, okay, I die, I just lean back and I say 1B. Do you know what I mean? You know, like you're playing a
Yeah,
face
yeah,
it
yeah.
and you're playing with someone who's just like 2B. And that's it. That's all the communication you'll ever hear from him is when he dies. And it kind of looked to me a little bit like that. There was no excitement. There wasn't anything going on in bait. Obviously, that changed a little bit throughout the tournament. And I think to the third, or maybe if it was the fourth game, we could see a
Mhm.
smile on Hetrick's face at one point.
He's been
But it,
slumping though, so this was a good event for his confidence.
yeah, but they looked a little bit like completely different from when I watched them at the major.
But
Because
bro,
they were aggressive, they were constantly,
I'm gonna
reacting to
blame
plays.
I'm gonna blame stupid coach and management because he gave me some fantastic quotes saying like I told him not to play like pussies. I was so glad I got to say pussies on the broadcast 3 or 4 times. But like, tell him that before the game, bro. And also, they said coach and management decide on what games they're playing. Yeah, what tournaments they're entering. Well, clearly this team needs to play more online games. Don't be scared of your ranking because this was like looked like ring rust. Not
Yes,
playing
yes.
officials, not being cohesive enough, not playing off each other. Once they got into games, yeah, then you saw all the positives of this team, like we saw at
Yeah,
Austin
they
Nation.
grew. They grew every single game.
Every match, every match. And by the way, Kenzazor, he's one for the future. If that
Yeah.
kid could speak English, so I met him, I'm just on my Instagram. I met him in 2023, June 2023. I was in Kiev during the war and I went down to Ikla, who was staying at the Navi boot camp. I filmed some content with him.
Ah.
Ikla's a small organization, doesn't exist anymore, had a lot of problems, yeah? After that, he got to have a chance on the Ukrainian national team for ISF.
Was
They had some
Quem in
problems.
Ikla as well?
Yes, but he was on main Ikla. This
Okay.
Kenzor was on Ikla Ukraine. So obviously Ikla had a bunch of problems, but this kid, his English is so-so. But he's what we would call in Ukraine like a bandit. He comes from small little village.
A bandit.
Yeah, I call him Bandito. He's a little bit of a bad boy. Gets up to no good, some trouble. Like driving car without a driving license kind of thing. You know, bit
You're just
rough around the
exposing him
edges.
right now?
No, I'm not saying this is what he's doing. I'm just saying like rough around the edges. These kind of things you
Okay.
do as a bad kid. God knows if he's done that or not. But I sent him a message back in August 2023, and I say, from what I see from the eye test, I really believe in you, and I think you have a bright future in Counter Strike. But I said, you have to throw everything else away, like all the negative stuff, any messing around with girls and other things like that. You need to focus on the game and like look at being a professional. Now, then joining up with the bait boys, that's a step up and that's a help for him. And when he first came in, he was not good. Yeah.
Yep.
But he said, I really want to become a player, a professional player. I'm not afraid. And I'm ready to play. And he's ready to do what it takes. He just needed some guidance. And I think that's what he's getting on bait to be a future good player. But I told him, you learn English, you keep playing like this, you could even have international teams knocking on you. Because if he just gets a bit more experience, he is so sharp and he's not scared. And he's the one who could pump the team up as well. He can breathe some life into it because he's the only one with energy,
Yeah,
always
I mean,
smiling.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he probably had the most amounts of aces in this tournament because
Oh, really?
I remember he had two against, I think, Passions, where he went out long, he went and yeah, either way, I think he was great. He had
Hmm.
two aces, from what I remember from one game at least. And his entry capability is what impressed me the most. He was relentless. I think he was pretty much a driving force for bait to kind of pick up that pace again in a game
Yeah.
where people started to have a little bit belief. And once Kansas was alive, got a few entries, people would follow up. And he was a vital part for bait even making it in the top third, not even mentioning he was vital for them even making it through a game
Yeah.
in this tournament. Hedrick also, he was great. He
Well, Hedrick
showcased some
finally
of his
came back to
op
his
and his
form.
clutches was amazing. Yeah, I'd say Kansasor is definitely one for the future, and having someone that can provide so much impact as an entry fragger is it's hard to find.
Yeah. I will say this as well. It'd be interesting if MPL, because they said about this to me in the interview, that they might have a bit more, someone else have a second calling voice and be taking part so that he can be freed up a bit more.
Because but
Because,
MPL is honestly their best player. I'm not joking.
but best player as an in-game leader,
He
free
is their
him
best
up.
player. He is their best player. It might be a little bit of a stretch, but he's calling and he's carrying them some of their
20
games.
years
Like
old. 20 years old.
I think he is their best player.
And also, he has less tier one events than Hedrick. Hedrick is the most experienced player on that team.
Yeah,
But I feel like give MPL a bit more wiggle room and he can do even more work.
yeah.
So I just think management. Oh, by the way, he said on the interview with me, MPL said they don't have a sports psychologist. I think he didn't quite understand me because afterwards the team said, no, we just got one. First event she's at with them is this event. So they do start using one, which is good. Yeah. I think he's just MPL's not the greatest interview. By the way, I sat with him at Austin Major after the event, and we all sat down just in the bar, just talking. The guy can yap.
I thought you said bath first.
No, in the bar. Uh, that would be a very unique interview.
Yeah.
And I was sat in a bar just talking, and he can yap for days. But you put a camera on the poor kid, and he's not quite there yet. So
Yeah.
he'll come with time. He'll get into it. But yeah, I think there's still a bright future for this team, and at least the way they came back into this event was very good for them.
Yeah.
$70,000 win, a third
But it's
place
like you say,
overall.
I just hope they grind some more games, get some
Yeah,
like
they
confidence
must.
from it,
They
like
must.
kind of what Navi do to this tournament. Bring in a couple of CCTs and just grind it out and gain some confidence because I'm sure the lands will be there anyways.
Because like, what are their chances to make? They're not going to make major, right?
They
They're
might make it.
20th right now. 20th, they might make it. Okay, so they got a chance. But like, they're playing EPL, right? And that doesn't have any effect on the invites.
It doesn't.
No, I don't think so. Bates' chance is a 25.2% chance of making the major.
Yeah, I'm putting it
Because I
up here
think the
from my
last events
screen.
of these small lands now, right? Fisher was the last big one. StarLadder was one as well.
You sure they have 20% only?
I'm looking at the document. Oh, no, it's from the 18th. Wait a sec. I'm on the wrong
So
document.
right now, I
Yeah,
think
right
it's the
now,
updated. It's
51,
51.
51.2%. You're correct.
So they
Thank you
have a
very much.
very, very good chance of
Well,
making the major.
but it says here, right?
So they're essentially competing against VP, Heroic, and Saw.
Mhm.
Saw is on 52%, Heroic on 55%, and Virtus Pro on 64. If I'm if I see this correctly.
Yeah, no, you do. You do.
That 64 was hard for me to read. But either way, so they are quite close with some of these teams. Um, so there is a chance. But they said they only had EPL.
Yes. I don't think they're going to any of these small events. So they've just got EPL coming up. And I
So that
when
might hinder them.
I don't think EPL counts that much. Like stage one of EPL was terrible for VRS. So yeah, I guess that's have some knock-on effect of other things happening, but we'll wait and
Yeah.
see. We'll keep updated on it. From here we can look at NIP.
Yep.
Second place, pretty good for a team that obviously only lost to Navi. They 2-0'd everyone else. Snappy said on that interview with me they've redone their playbook coming back from Philadelphia. They look like a different team. And sometimes Snappy has these crazy in-game leader games. B-Dog mentioned that he's like bringing the Ents-esque Snappy version back with these players. I think Exist is a very good coach for Snappy. I think that's a duo that can work well. And Kaspersky, he's pretty fucking stone cold. That Julie
He's good.
turnaround he did on debate, my God. That
He's
was
really good,
ridiculous.
and I think it's good that they're kind of reworking things because obviously Arosdosek, Kaspersky, very very different profiles of players.
Yep.
The other thing that I kind of want to commend NIP for is their prep work. They seem
Yep.
to, if we exclude that, nuke that you were talking about, where obviously you talked to Exist, and he was saying that people were kind of misunderstanding the whole kind of game plan and everything, and it was
Yep.
just a mess. If we exclude that map, I think pretty much every game they played, they looked to be targeting something like an area or map control or individual of the other team, and they did it really, really well. They got off to strong starts. They seemed to have a great idea of what to do on the server.
Hmm.
It was just impressive because prep work can be hard, especially like if you just look at the Inferno against Navi. Seemed to be very prep work for me that they tried to abuse Makassian in Inferno with a lot of utility. They got that. I think he had the worst half of his tournament when they did that. So there was a lot of intent with what they did on the server, especially early on in um, in the series. So
Yeah.
having that sort of prep work, and then when they kind of can iron out their philosophy a little bit more, I think they can be a dangerous team for even some of the top teams going into a game like at the major,
Definitely.
because now they have a few weeks, can kind of iron things out and make sure they have enough to adjust with at a tournament like that.
By the way, I don't understand why there's so many people hating on Nip as well. I don't know if it's just because of old Nip and bad Nip management. Yeah. But like people were saying, Nip making the majors by beating a bunch of part timers and lower ranked teams is insane. They made like 100 VRS points at frag against much weaker teams. Well, it's on LAN and it's full prize money. But also, Cologne, they beat Heroic 3D Max. Yeah. Here they beat Bait 15th, OG 23, Paravision 22. Like, they deserve their ranking. They have proven they deserve their ranking.
But
Like,
at
people's
least
just
NIP,
opinion on
they
NIP.
they tried. They were in a really bad spot. They've been grinding tournaments. They've made probably one of the hardest journeys you can make in Counter Strike, and that's being from like a no ranked team to what are they now? They are ranked 20, maybe even better. Uh, Valve ranking 18 and world ranking in HLTV is 23.
Yep.
So doing that, if you look at some of the interviews, obviously early in the year with Snappy, they were struggling to even get into the actual ranking system, like actually have a rank. So
Yep.
from being probably starting at something like 200, 160, something along those lines, to now, 9 months later, being rank 18 is impressive. You got to give them their flowers for that. No matter if they have experience in their teams, no matter if, Shush Snappy has been on these good teams before, doesn't matter. They made that journey.
Yeah. And do you know what's crazy though? You heard it on the interview with Snappy. He's now about to have a baby again, his second baby.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And congratulations to him. Congratulations to the loss, mate. But like that obviously might take him out from the game for a little bit of time. I'm sure his wife knows what they signed up for. Um, but that could be something that hurts them a little bit, but at least not for this major. So it's something to keep an eye on and look at.
Yeah.
But that's it. I think overall, to give the thoughts on Star Series, production quality was good. There were some mistakes, there were some delays, there were some tech problems. I'm not going to sit here and glaze StarLadder because they've got the next major, right? It is just pretty bad at times on some things, but it's very good on other things. And for their first event back, for the teams they had, the quality they did from an online broadcast perspective of what you guys had, and then the amount of like sit down interviews I could do and extra content things. This is all very positive. So
And they were really open to suggestions of changing things
yes,
up and kind of adjusting things mid tournament. Something, you have to commend them with as well. Also, there's not a lot of tournaments, even if they would gotten a major that just runs a tournament as like a test for them to make sure. Obviously, the quality as its highest order for the
yeah,
actual major. So. we have to give them props for that as well. That they're kind of ironing some of the kinks out even now.
Yep. I was happy with the HUD and the overlay and that stuff as well.
I love the HUD, like the in game, the minimap. It was super clear and it was
I'm not a
super
fan of the
easy to watch.
sponsorship shout outs for the commentators too often though. Jesus Christ, that felt like a bit too
No,
much.
but
That's got to change.
I'm a minimap lover, so having a clear, good
Yeah.
kind of HUD for that is yeah, I love that.
But I'll say overall positive. I'll also say this actually while we're here. I got to go inside the major arena. Dude, I'm going to say this. I will put myself on this plateau as it be. I think that StarLadder will have the best major arena in the history of our game. Now, Antwerp was the best crowd we've ever had, and it was packed and it was full out. But I don't have any information yet. It looks like they will do a 360 stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a full circle Coliseum. It fits 20,000. Antwerp, I think, was 18,000, but it got extended to 20,000 on the last day or something like that,
Yep.
if numbers serve me correctly. But Antwerp wasn't a modern arena. This arena was built in 2019. It was used for the Handball World or European Championship in 2022. It is more modern than your Colognes. It's more modern than Royal Arena. It's bigger than Cologne and Royal Arena. It's only marginally bigger than Cologne, but Cologne, the way they do this stage, because it's not 360, they cut off some of the seats.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this will be potentially the record-breaking size and beauty in the arena. And it honestly, if I get to work this major and I'm standing on that stage, it's going to be one of the best moments of my career. I truly believe it because I was inside it. I was looking around and I'm thinking, if StarLadder nail this, yeah, obviously that's another thing. I'm just talking about the arena. We don't know how StarLadder will do it. But if StarLadder nail this, this is going to be great. So if people don't have their tickets just yet and they're on the edge about it, this right now, I'm happy to say that this could be crazy good.
So one of the few things I was always kind of, when you looked at TIs or majors for Dota, I
Mm-hmm.
was kind of jealous about was those 360 arenas where you had the booths in the middle, all the crowd all around. Like no matter what camera
Yep.
angle you would look at, you would see the crowd in the background.
Yep.
I think this is so damn cool. Like I think it's the best kind of to as a viewer online to
Mm-hmm.
get a sense of how it is in the arena. This is the best stage for it.
Yeah.
For an online viewership, and I'm pretty sure it is the best even on spot as well to be in the actual tournament and view it as a viewer. I think it's probably the best. But as a spectator at home, I know it's for sure the best to kind of get grasp
And
the
they
moments.
did 360 back in Berlin. Yeah, we had 360 at Shanghai, um, but a smaller arena. Cluj had a 360, but it was a smaller arena. I just, if StarLadder do things correctly, this is going to be incredible. This is going to be a major to remember. And then if the games deliver as well, we're going to be sweet. We're going to be so sweet. So that makes me very excited. Um, but yeah, we both got to work the event. We both so okay. Look at this, by the way. Let's do our predictions.
Okay, I know how you want this.
Cool. So, just to remind everyone, our predictions for StarLadder. So, first game, Bait versus Paravision. Well, Paravision won, so I got that wrong, and you got it right, Devil. So,
Yep.
congratulations. Then Nip versus OG. I said Nip, you said OG, so you got that wrong. I said Passion UA, you said Gentlemates, so I got that correct. You got that wrong. And then
I
I
was
said
not
Navi
great on
versus
this one.
Nine. So, to start with, you already got two wrong in the opening matchups. And then
Yep.
predicted tournament winner. Last placed OG. Devil predicted winner. OG. Oh, mate.
There's a small
What?
caveat to this,
What were you smoking? Because it's
but
what you could say.
there's
Make the
one thing.
final.
There is nothing I love more than when I speak about Navi losing. The way you get
Didn't
the
lose
the
though.
the, the shiny forehead,
Looks
the
good right now.
worry,
Looks
the
good right
thoughts
now.
creeping into your
No,
mind.
no, I'm nice. I'm
I know
comfortable. I'm
there's no sweat
calm.
now right now, But we will
Mm-hmm.
get more of these moments. And one day,
Hey,
Banks, that sweat will be shown on
okay.
this podcast.
I'm gonna say this here. They might lose and they might make me sweat, but Navi will never lose to OG.
Never.
Never.
I'll take you up on that.
Never. Never. It's not happening. It's not
But
happening.
obviously, yeah, I went for a dark horse pick. I still will say I consider Navi to be the favorites, but I thought they could lose and drop a few games.
Huh?
Um, and they were close to.
One game at the beginning.
I'd say 2 games.
Okay, maybe could have dropped one more map against
NIP.
Nip. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, well, that's our previews done. Let's get on to some news. And the first thing we got to touch on, let's just do this, right? I'm gonna play the clip. So everyone, we're gonna do this on 3, 2, 1. Ixan was cheating during the game.
Yep.
Kind of crazy, therefore, right? Now, I'll say this. Blast has made me go in Singapore, in Portugal, in the Royal Arena, on stage, and tell the crowd in between games. Press journalists have reported on this as I've had to go and do it. If you cheat, X-ray will be removed. If you keep cheating, we'll remove the mini map. Yeah. Now Fisher is new to broadcast. Yeah. So it's not good. It's like they're learning through this. But they kept turning and turning off the X-ray on this. Dude, I'm gonna say that
But
crowd cheating was one of the worst I've seen. Yeah.
yep.
And Kiksan, he is he's a nice guy. Yeah. He was using this, and people can say, oh, but he's using it to his advantage because, like, it's part of the game. No, this isn't part of the game. This ruins competitive integrity. And we've seen other players do this. I know that. We've seen even FaZe Clan players do this before. Yeah. But this was so obvious and so bad that instantly, for the rest of the tournament, Fisher should have turned off X Ray. And you know what they do? This is what a good tournament organizer done because Blast have done it. You turn it off in the arena, which I don't think they would. I don't think Fisher had this capability, but you turn it off in the arena, but you keep it on for the viewers at home. You can have
Yep.
you can do that. That is possible with the right technology. But I'm just telling you, Kicksan deserves some hate for this because he should know better. Yeah, and
I
there
agree.
should be.
I agree to some extent, but I also think, like, why isn't this form of kind of manipulating the crowd, and you're playing these stage games and you get to this moment, why isn't it in the rule book that this is not
Yeah.
allowed? Why is
Yep.
it so vague in the rule book? Because we did check Fisher's rule book, before going on
Hmm.
to this episode. There's nothing really indicating anything about crowd or using it in that. It's just very vague language where one could, if it's brought up in a
Yep.
discussion, maybe they could make the case that there's one little small sentence where it actually applies. But I think all tournaments, and especially with VRS and Valve, they should probably come into this and
Hmm.
because this is quite obviously blatantly
This was
encouraging the crowd
huge.
to give him that information.
Yeah.
It's
Bro, we've
in
seen it
an
before for a
impactful
couple of
round.
seconds.
Yeah.
Not like this. This is a crazy way. Unless I'm missing some, and people can correct me in the comments or something. But this was outrageous. And I'm not. He doesn't deserve all hate. Don't tell him fucking. Oh, quit the game. You should retire. Any bullshit like that, right? But I will just say, Fisher should have turned that off instantly. It is unacceptable. I agree with you that it needs to be in the rule book as well. But also, if crowd members are doing this, kick them out. You are scum. You are not fans of the game. You don't care about competitive integrity. You are trying to help people cheat. And I want
Yeah.
to see the best Counter Strike possible. That's it.
No, I
I
agree.
I I hate this. Messioso had
And
a banging tweet, by the way. What did he? Let's see. His tweet, Messioso, by the way, Graham is a legend. We don't deserve someone as good as him on this. He said, mild take. Crowd cheating is one thing. players enticing the crowd into cheating for them by wiggling their crosshairs into smokes or balls is significantly worse and should be punished severely. Disgraceful behavior.
I mean, I agree. I mean, I think
You don't
most of
agree
the times,
fully.
no, I agree. I agree fully. The
Okay.
one thing I'll say is like, just to the context of this, like we've seen crowds kind of, when someone is backstabbing, everyone kind of gets excited and goes ooh, and
Yeah.
and and players kind of realize something is happening and turn around and kill the
But
guy
that's a
that's
natural
flanking.
reaction.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not, as Graham is saying, he's not spinning around checking in the middle of default. Where are they? Is anyone coming Ivy? Okay, then they don't need to defend inner. There's two guys Ivy.
Yeah.
Like it has so much impact in the round. And yeah, I just think that the one thing I'll say is like I don't think that Kixan should be punished for it.
Mm-hmm.
And why I'll say that is because I think we create a really weird precedent of things where if things aren't written in a rule book and someone does something that we just think is morally wrong, then they should
Yeah.
be in the rule book already. It shouldn't
Yes.
be us punishing a player that isn't breaking any rules, but having the discussion and saying, okay, I don't think that's okay. Let's apply a rule for that. And now, if anyone from this moment onwards does it, we should, punish them.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't think that, I think it's disgusting behavior, but I don't think that he should be punished for it. I think we as a community should drive the discussion of, okay, TOs,
Mm-hmm.
this needs to be in the rule book. This needs to be punishable from this day
Yeah.
forward.
I will happily send that message to every TO that I work with. Happily. I think
Yeah,
yeah, you're bang on. That is where we can say it's bang on. But Kicksan himself, he knows better than that as well.
yeah,
He knows way better than that, and it's embarrassing. It is just very embarrassing, and I expect better from him. I expect better from any players that are doing it. But your way makes more sense because it's not in the rule book, so technically he's not breaking any rules. It's just the competitive integrity that we don't like on that stance.
yeah.
So hopefully this is a rule book change that will just come in across all VRS events because crowd cheating sucks. And if you're one of the ones in the crowd doing it, you are a problem. You are scum. That is just a fact. And the fact he smiled while doing it makes me
Yeah, yeah, it
even
makes
more
it
annoyed.
way worse, yes.
It's way worse. It's way worse. Um, all right, from here, you're wearing a Godsent hoodie, but Godsent
Yeah.
has declared bankruptcy. Obviously, it used to be owned by Pronax. There was a load of stuff around that. We're not going to get into that stuff. It's just a very sad situation because I personally like Pronax a lot. But you used to, in even recent times, a BNE boot camp at the Godsent facilities, right?
Yeah, used to be there. Obviously, I was the coach with when we went from, we were no chance, we went to Smash, and then from Smash we went to Godsent.
Yep.
So I obviously know the owners and everyone quite well. I think in terms of, them obviously selling us to Fun Plus Phoenix, I think they got like a huge influx of money from that. They obviously made that Brazilian team after that with Taco, Dumao, Lato, etc., etc. I think maybe
Yep.
even Colsero was there for a while, or
Okay.
I no,
Oh,
maybe
yeah, he
not.
might. Yeah, he might have been. He might have been. Let me check. I think you might be right, actually.
Maybe I'm misremembering it, but either way, I think they obviously invested huge amounts of money
No, he
into
wasn't.
that. No, I think it was after in the Zero Zero Nation where Cold kind of
Mm-hmm.
joined that core. Either way, um, I think they've kind of made a few unsuccessful kind of, say,
A few.
marketing displays and weird decisions along the way. They
Yep.
obviously hired, Heaton and some other dude that was like Heaton's friend, came
Mm-hmm.
out like all sort of bad behavior from him, kind of messaging teenage girls and stuff like that. I'm not going to get too much into that, but that was obviously a huge fail just a few days later that came out.
Yep.
um but yeah, I think in general they haven't really invested their money very wisely. and that's kind of went into this state quite naturally after that. So yeah, sad to see a brand like that, kind of legendary in some sense, logo and team name. Sad to see them go. I had some good times with them. I like the guys that was working in Godsent. Have a good
Hmm.
relationship with them even now, but yeah, sad it turned out this way.
And I think we'll just hear more of these kind of things for these smaller organizations as well. This is going to be a regular thing. Obviously, the complexity situation now into this, we'll keep reporting and we'll keep seeing them come through.
Yep.
But you are wearing out of respect your hoodie for them for at least
Yes,
this
I
episode.
also have Godsent underwear on for those that want to
God
know.
sent underwear. You want to show it? You've been always happy to put your pants on a screen
Well, it's
before.
essentially just a regular Björn Borg underwear with like
You want to show? You want to show the little waistline bit so we can just see.
no, I think I'm good. But it just has this logo on it.
All right, chat. You need to tell us. Shall he take these godsend boxes off?
I'm
Keep
very
them. No, no.
experienced in taking off my pants, by
Yep.
the way.
No, but take them off, not wash them, and put them up for auction for charity.
There won't be many Godsent underwear out there.
Yeah, see. Worn by Devil. There we
True.
go. Major champion as a player and a coach. Impressive. All right, from there though, let's go on to some of the kind of major invites. So we spoke about, we're going to show it up on screen now. We spoke about Mischief, obviously on Twitter.
Yep.
Very, very up to date, very informed. His name's Finn.
It's good
And
that we have someone that understands the VRS system so we can kind of take their homework.
it's wild. It's actually wild. But there's three important lands for this going on, right? There's Birch Cup 2025 in Gdansk, Poland, $15,000 prize pool. There's Landerlan, another Russian betting sponsored thing for 50,000 prize money. Just Russian teams attending or CIS
Yep.
teams, is there? Yeah, it's
No,
like
only Russians.
there's all all CIS teams, and then there's Draculan back again with a season 2, and they are all just the last events. They're going to have a significant impact on VRS. So let's start with Birch Cup because I know Liquid's going, but we can't see the team list just yet. Yeah. Um,
Okay.
oh, we can see the team list. There's a HLTV post on it. Liquid, NIP, Fnatic, Gentlemates, Big Ents, FUT9, Monty, Wildcard, Venom, Partisan, ESC, Johnny Speeds, BetClick, AAB, Tricked, Inner Circle, Kono, Phantom, Mouse NXT, Nemesis, Valtrian, and Atomic. There is a lot.
But don't you think this is quite funny when you like look at Liquid, who
Don't need to go now.
probably have 15K in salary each? I don't know, but I'll assume that, and they're sharing the spoils of one monthly salary as both a team of Liquid and 5 players, a coach. If they win, or no, they'll share probably half a salary amongst each other for winning the event.
Bro, they only went because they didn't think they'd do so good at Fissure. And
Yeah.
now, actually, I don't know. I don't think there's a risk they're going to lose points here, but they're probably
No,
playing
there
with a
is, I
leash.
think.
Is there?
Yeah, of course. I think if you would look, do they have any matchups yet?
No, no
No.
matchups.
But I
But
mean,
like,
imagine they
some
would
of the teams are not
play.
even ranked.
But imagine they play someone like Venom or
Miles
Mouse
NXT's ranked
NXT.
238.
Imagine losing to one of those. You probably drop like 100 points.
And they're just changing player for this event, remember?
Yeah,
If my information is correct, the leash will be coming in and
dude, that would be so crazy if they managed to.
they can't drop out that far because they're playing in Europe, right? So right now, they are 99.9% sure they're in stage 1 anyway.
No, okay, okay. They're pretty. They're certain.
Yeah. But if they do, I don't know, if they win some games here, can they go up to stage 2 and take it away from FaZe? That would be funny.
It looks like they can.
So stage probability 69%. So it'd have to be, yeah, it'd have to be
So I
huge.
assume there's like a 30% chance that they could make stage 2 if 3D Max face drop down.
Yeah.
Because Gamer
Eh,
Legion has no chance of making any other stage than that one.
I'm
Stage
excited
1.
to see this go down. You got two Polish players on Liquid, you know.
Yeah.
Let them see if they can cook here a bit more.
But it's a pretty stacked tournament, I have to say, for a $15,000 LAN in Gdansk. Having, Liquid, Nip, Fnatic, Gentleman, Big, Ends, Foot on LAN as well, Nine, Wildcard coming back to some EU lands.
Yeah.
I think this is
So
a
like,
pretty exciting tournament, to be fair. Like, if you look at it.
even by the way, for example, Bet Boom and Paravision playing at the Landerlam, because the other competition is so weak, it doesn't like their chances, according to Mischief, is like Bet Boom chance of making the major 36%, Paravision 2.8%. You know?
Yeah.
And that's updated as of today. So even for Landerland, there's not much point talking about it. Draculan back again, by the way, in Bucharest, Romania. Also, just best land name, Draculan in
Yeah.
Romania. They've got like Polish Reason there, Zero Tenacity, Sinners, Metasport, Passion UA, Ecstatic, FlyQuest, and OG. So OG, obviously, chances are very small of making the major now. Extremely small.
Yeah, I think they pretty much have to win every single game possible, and that's the only chance they have. But that's also, they don't really have everything in their hands, because obviously, if someone like So Heroic and VP do, they have to like kind of shit the bed as well
Yeah.
for there to be a chance. And obviously, the ones they're competing with the space can't do well either, which would be Betboom, Fnatic, Gentlemates, Ecstatic, OG, and Bait.
Yeah.
So they have a big list of competitors as well.
Well, let's move from there into Pro League. So EPL is back, obviously all on land, which is great. Um, I won't be going there. It's in Stockholm. The first event, by the way, the first stage. I'm trying to see where I read this. I don't know. I don't think it has any effect on VRS because it
How can you
starts
get
before.
converse? But is there any matches already on preview? No.
Yeah, no matches, no matches.
How do we get the matches up? Because then you
Check on
could
ESL while I
see.
blow my nose.
Because then you could. I'm about to pour a whiskey here mid episode. That's what you do when you go into the EPL events. Need something strong. But if we actually had the match pages, we would be able
Hmm.
to see the VRS forecast that HLTV have.
Yeah,
We don't really have that option right now
I just think I read. I'm trying to see who I read it on, but it's like.
for the YouTube
Mm.
viewers as well.
ESL Pro League 22. This is from Udnund Jesper Larsen,
Ah, yeah.
another genius. He says ESL Pro League 22. How much will it count towards major qualification? Yeah. And he said, probably known info for most, but here is the recap. Valve will close and release major qualifications ranking on October 6th, first Monday in the month around 19 CT. All results from stage one will count towards the qualification. No results from ESL main event will be counted. Okay. Bonus info. EPL stage one will have a minimum event weight, so small event weight, yeah, and only small prize money paid out for 9 to 16 teams. So teams will be playing mainly for LAN win impact, which is much lower VRS impact from this event than from Fissure.
But I
You won't be
still
seeing
think
anything
that
like
this is
Fissure.
impactful enough, because they did Didn't they make a change where they added the prize money to these spots for it to have an actual implication towards the rankings to kind of motivate teams to go to this tournament? I thought I read that somewhere. I might be wrong, but this still
So
is,
I'll read it out for you. It says a lot of teams here can really use more land wins though, so they will see good gains from wins, just like teams in open lands, while they still need more land wins. A lot of the EPL Stage 1 qualification drama will actually be about not losing games for those that need more VRS points to qualify. An upset
Okay.
loss will cost close to. I'm dying, man. Definitely going doctor tomorrow. An upset loss will cost close to minus 30 points. I can't hit the mute button in time. I'm trying to read this out as you absolutely help with nothing other than drinking, um, which is almost as much as some
As
teams will
is
get from a
tradition.
win. Oh my god, I'm dying.
Send me the link and I'll do it.
Teams that desperately need points, heroic bait, etc., shouldn't get into that mindset.
This is disaster.
Shouldn't get into the mindset that 3-2 or even 3-1 is fine. Maybe a loss to a team like G2 is okay. Oh my god. But not to equally or lower ranked teams. Please talk, Devil.
Okay, so essentially, if someone like Bait lose against TNL or Fluxo or whatever, like obviously a lower ranked team in this tournament setting, it could kill their major chances. Whilst I have one more thing to say about VRS, because this was a weird one when we looked at StarLadder, where Bait was higher ranked at Gentlemates, but Bait would get like 80 points from winning, and Gentlemates would get like 20 points, 30 points from winning against Bait. And I think VRS has this weird thing where if you don't play, your points are less at risk. Where if you have more accurate data on your in played and won a lot of games, you have more points on the line, in some sense, which I think is a weird system. I don't know why it is like that. I would love for someone that is a genius, like Mischief or Anknut or what his name is. I think that's
Jesper?
Jasper. If he could kind of help me out on that, I'll maybe reach out to him to see if he actually knows. But yeah, I think it's risk reward for someone like Bait. They obviously need to pick up wins to make it to the major. But someone like VP, how is VP looking actually? So VP are in a very precarious situation because they could lose their major spot. And they are obviously in a transition period. They've changed electronic. Perfecto new in-game leader taking up a young kind of rookie player into their lineup for now from the academy team.
I
They
think I'm back.
are, I think, the most at-risk team in this event, dropping points against some of the lower ranked teams.
That's crazy, huh?
Yep. Them and Heroic, I think, are on they're going to be the most
VP
interesting
Hurricane
to
Saw.
follow.
Is Saw even at EPL?
No.
No. The Saw might actually. It says they have a 52% chance, but they could lose their spot to a team like Bait.
Yes.
Definitely. All right, it's going to be interesting, man. This just gets exciting. So we can't see the matchups or anything, right? So should we just go through who we think? So 8 teams will go through
So
to
half
the
of the teams will make it through.
yeah. So I'm gonna say Furia, G2, Astralis, 3D Max, Gamer Legion, Bait. Ooh, and my last wait a sec. Furia, G2, Astralis, 3D Max, Gamer Legion, Bait. I need two more. Two more.
Should I do
I think
mine?
Linvision and Virtus Pro won't make it. I think M80
Yep.
and I'll say as a random one in there, that like this is a curveball one, the Linvision will just about make it. So I've given them the eighth. So
Okay.
I'm only saying Virtus Pro won't make it out the top, and I'm putting M80 above them.
I'll do Furia G2 Australis, 3D Max, Gamer Legion, Bait. I'll do Heroic M80.
Oh, okay. I just think Linvision need to show something, and at times they can look good. They have lost the Mongols G2 and VP at Fissure, but they probably stayed in Europe this whole time. I'm hoping, please, Linvisions, just don't have gone home,
But
and
they
then it'll
seem
be
to
good.
almost like match their opponent in some sense. Do you know what I mean? So if they play like a G2, they'll play a map close, to get overtime on one map and then kind of fall flat. But when they play
Yeah,
like someone like Hotu, they're probably in the same skill range no matter who they play
yeah.
in some weird sense. If that, I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, I
some
see what you're
teams they
saying.
just, yeah.
And then from here they'll go to stage two, which already has Mongols, Vitality, Spirit, Falcons, Mals, Aurora, Navi, FaZe, like all the top teams are there.
Yeah.
There's literally one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight on the
Are we doing this one as well?
no, because we don't know who's going to be joining them. We'll do
True.
a show before them. There's a break right between. So next that starts on the
October
4th.
2nd. Yes, there's a
Oh, there's
daybreak.
just about a day break. Not really a day break. One day, yeah, 1 day break.
Yeah,
So
one day.
when October 2nd finishes, we just record an episode.
Yep.
All right. That brings us to the end of the show. We 2 hours 9 minutes. Not bad. We cooked through
We have
that
some viewer
considering how.
questions.
Oh yeah. Don't forget the Q&A. So as always, viewer questions can come from our Discord. Make sure you join the Discord and come in and chat with us. First one's from Skorga. He's got two. Oh, he's got two.
Do you
With
want me
less
to
than
do
one
this?
month. No, you can go. I'll do this. You can do the second one. With less than 1 month until 6th of October, VRS invites to Budapest. Who will be missing out and who will be qualifying for the major in your mind? Team Liquid potentially switch back is a very interesting prospect, but unknown at the time of writing. Um,
It's basically a prediction for
of
who makes the
who's in
major.
Europe, obviously, Vitality Spirit, G2, Falcons, Mouse, Aurora, Navi, Astralis, 3D Max, FaZe,
I mean, the
Liquid.
last three spots is the more,
Yeah.
interesting ones to predict.
I think Virtus Pro and Saw won't make it.
Okay. And
I
who in
think
this list will make it from those? Out of Bait,
Bait.
Batboom, Fanatics.
I hope it's Bait and Fnatic, but it's probably Bait and Bet Boom. Maybe only one team drops off there.
Okay. I mean, I agree on that. I think there's a slight chance there's Bait and Batboom just
Hmm.
because they're in different tournaments. Maybe they pick up points in a different sense if Batboom do well on Land.
Yep.
Um, but I also hope it's Bait and Fnatic. Okay,
Sweet.
second part of this question. Is the new case system an attempt by Valve to bypass gambling laws coming into effect across the Western world and China? The uproar over photo ID age verification being in GTA, is that 6 or 4?
Yeah.
6. GTA 6. Although inactive files still exist, to play online is not a popular route. So, is this Valve suggestions going forward? A 2.0 step from the case situation they released for France, the X-ray scanner. I have no clue what that is. The X-ray
Yeah.
scanner.
By the way, I have zero idea. I've just seen lots of people talking about it. I've not tried it, but this is obviously where Valve have like you can buy a skin and they're setting the value.
I'm sure it
Um,
is to some degree because I mean, obviously more and more kind of countries are banning it, banning everything from, even we can see it in the streaming departments as well, with kind of betting these bits and stuff on Twitch or
yeah.
whatever it is, channel points. Some countries cannot do that. So I'm sure it's a little bit of a workaround because this is just basically an in game marketplace to some degree where the more you buy a skin, the higher value it gets because
Hmm.
of demand and
How it works.
whatever. But I haven't really seen the actual thing in game. I'm not a, I don't know what to say, a skinny or a skin dude.
You are skinny, but you're not a skin dude.
Yeah, I'm not a skinny.
Obviously, this affects traders and stuff massively, right? Um,
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on this right now because I don't know enough about the thing. I've not seen it. I've not been home.
But I think it's essentially the new case. So let's say
Hmm.
it's a new case. I think they kind of like open up the case and you
Yep.
can complete some mission or whatever and buy things from the marketplace in the case for whatever price they set. So let's say, previously you could have a case where you had an AUG skin that was the very red skin, but nobody really cared if you had an AUG chameleon, even though it was one of the more unlikely hits to get in a case. And now this is more dependent on how
Hmm.
popular, the skin is, the more expensive it will be.
Yeah. Yeah. I got no comment.
Yeah, me
This
neither
is
really.
way. This is way above. Yeah. We answered your first question, Scorga. I'd have to see this more, and I can answer it to you another time.
And I don't even know what the X-ray scanner is in France.
No.
Okay, from Mars. Hey guys, going back to my earlier question about Liquid, do you think it makes more sense for them to cut Nerds and Ultimate and go back to an America's roster with the ways that they've been suffering in Europe? Plus the disappointment that has been Ultimate. What's to stop Liquid from potentially calling up OC or getting on SA South African offer to
No.
play with them? South
South
American.
American. No. Yeah.
Okay, South American offer to play with them maybe for Budapest. I also think with M80's run, there's a conversation to bring in Lake as that hardcore entry with Shui, which I could really help them start off round in a man advantage. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. Also, Devil, my man, thank you for talking about Deadlock. I just re-downloaded the game and it's so much better than it was a year ago. Who do you main? Keep up the awesome work. This has easily become my favorite podcast after months of swearing by talking counters lol. Much love to you all. Thank you so much.
Answer
Um,
deadlock first, and then we can talk
I'll
Counter Strike
answer the
afterwards.
deadlock first. So currently I play a lot of Paige, a lot of Billy. I
You look
play
like a
some
Billy.
Mina. Um, but I think my best character is probably Holiday at the moment. But I probably have like 10 to 14 different heroes I play or champions or
Bloody
whatever.
hell.
Um, but I usually go through one for like 2 3 days. Feel
Yeah.
like okay, I know this one, and then I never play them again, and I pick a new one.
You are hardcore, man.
That's my
No, we
Billy
need to
right
find.
now.
We need to find out what he's doing, what he's playing. I will just tell you, if you like Dragon Ball, come play Dragon Ball Squadron. I'm going to convince Devil to play with me because it is a fast-paced action MOBA with Dragon Ball characters. I am
So there
still
was
grinding that like crazy.
there was quite a few questions in this question.
Yo, so
Um,
I'll start on the liquid bit, right? Because I've had some more time to think about it. You're thinking deadlock. So
yep.
if my sources are right and they get a leash, yeah, I don't think they remove Nerts. I think you have NAF, you have a leash, and then you could remove Ultimate. I'm not against that. I think Ultimate, like even here where they made top four of Fisher Playground, he had a. Let's have a look. He had a 1.06 rating. It was NAF and Twist doing the heavy lifting. I feel like you need more output from an AWPer overall. And I think Ultimate's had enough time. I quite like them to see get a North American AWPer. I don't think them getting Lake would make sense if they're getting a Liege. Um, I'm down for the ultimate change, basically, unless he can suddenly improve when a Liege comes into the team some more.
And I love doing this with Opers especially. We did this once in the past. Like if you look at Liquid, they're obviously I am on the wrong rankings, but Liquid are ranked 14th right?
Hmm.
If you look above them, do you think that they have a better roper than Tai Lu on rank 13, G?
No,
Better roper than Face Brokey on
definitely
rank
not.
12? Better roper than Maka on 3D Max?
No, not now. He's in game leading.
Better roper than Device on rank
Definitely
10?
not.
Better roper than Wonderful on rank 9?
No.
Better roper than Voxic in Aurora?
Mm-mm.
Better roper than Sampius?
No.
Better roper than Torchi?
No.
Okay, I can pretty much
Yeah,
confidently
that's
say that the rest
no one.
will also be a no. And I always think it's a problem when you have an offer and you look at just the ranking slightly above you, and you can never have a confident or even a debate or a discussion about if he is a better offer.
Yeah,
Then I think you're in like big trouble as a roster. Um, and you can do the same kind of experiment if you look downwards, like with Payne. I don't think he's better than NQC. I think that this one he might be better than, and that's Kersey in Gamer Legion, but he's being
100%.
replaced.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I'd agree with Ultimate kind of needing to. I don't think that he's like bad or anything. I just don't
No,
think that he's
he's not
really
enough
at
for
this
this
level.
level.
Yeah,
He's had time now. He's not got to like we saw moments of it, and
yeah,
maybe by the way, part of this is twists and the coaching staff overhyped him. We found him, we plucked him out. Like we scouted this guy, and we believed too much. We saw some moments from him, but he performs best in like the losing games, and
yeah.
that's it.
And no, I think it's he hasn't been enough, but that could be said about a lot of players
Yeah,
on Liquid.
yeah. But Naf's back. Naf's actually back.
Yeah, with the wasted and suffering, you're just disappointed. I also think M8 is run. There's a conversation to bringing Lake as the hardcore entry with Shui.
But that won't work when you got a leash.
No, but I
Yeah,
still think I was impressed with Lake. I think he was really good in M80, and I hope to see more of him. Obviously, I think it's a bit of a gamble for Liquid to go for a player who we've just started to see have a good tournament. So I wouldn't, if I was Liquid, just gamble on that tournament to save their day. Even though I think there's potential in Lake, and I like what I've seen so far, I think it's a bit too early to have those discussions.
yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully we answered your questions nice and good. We are at the end of episode 26 of the All About Counter-Strike podcast. As always, thank you to everyone that listens, watches, subscribes, likes, comments. Your comments are always appreciated. We try to reply to as many of them in the YouTube comments as possible. If you're watching on Spotify, for example, or some of the other podcast platforms, please give us a review. An honest review is always appreciated. We're always open to feedback. We read feedback on Discord. We read feedback on the YouTube comments, and we're always trying to implement things to make the podcast better. Hope you like the little podcast we did, sadly without Devil, during StarLadder with some specials. And we'll try and bring on some more guests soon enough. But just we are so busy, so cooked, and we're planning for something very big in the future. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.